And we're back. Any given Monday, getting dropped on a Sunday night. Boys, how is everyone?
Right, man. How are you, brother?
Good, brother, good.
What's happening?
How's the Mother's Day going?
It was good. Quiet, you can't go too far. Though unless you're at New Farm Park, I went for a walk and there were people picnicking, bottles of piss. There ain't no restrictions at New Farm Park, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I gave Lakin's mum a gift voucher for 10 orgasms.
You mean your wife?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
So we can pretty much scrunch that in half.
Gee.
and throw it in the
no
bin 'cause
refunds,
that's never
though.
gonna
No
happen, mate.
refunds. So,
You gave some other bloke's number or what?
yeah. And then I told my missus that the guest that we got on today, I can't bring him through the top, like through the house, because I don't need buckets down here picking up the puddles that she drips. You
Oh,
know?
that's a spirit.
I was more thinking about telling her about the other co-host you have on your show, but if you want to talk shit about guys, well, no.
Dane,
Don't
you,
worry about me, bro.
Dane, you got enough women.
Oh,
Don't be greedy.
all right. Anyway, how was your week, right, man? Tell us about it. What's
Not
going
much.
on?
Not
Not
much.
much happening?
Worked out a couple of times. Walked a lot.
You've been working out. I've been seeing you on Facebook working out. You've done 4,000 push-ups in the last couple
It's
of weeks.
fucking,
It's ridiculous.
and you forget about it. And I didn't want to. This morning was the fucking worst. I woke up half asleep, so I went out there, stretched up, smashed 25 out fast. Felt the form looked good. Then realised I didn't turn the fucking camera on, and then had to fork out another 25 after. You see me get to the last 5 on this video, and I'm fucking dying. I'm going. Everyone's gonna, and then someone's going, "Yeah, that last 5 of the 25 is the worst." I go, "Yeah, it is a bit."
You're looking fit, but
The
mate.
form's
Don't worry about the
getting better
chat.
and better.
You're
Look-
looking fit, but righty. Don't worry about the hate. You're looking real fit.
Thanks, man.
And Dana, how many girls you fucked this week? Are you still with Blondie?
Yeah, the one you don't. Well, the one whose
you
house
cunts
you're
are the worst, eh? You're the reason I stick with the one chick now, because if I don't, then I come on here and I get abused for it, and then every chick I'm seeing decides, oh my God, I heard your podcast, and apparently you're fucking like 8 of us at a time.
Yeah, so the 3 listeners, what, you think 3 of them are girls? Or?
Nah, just the one. Just the one.
That's the
definitely.
key to who it is. They
I think
will
I'm
like
stuck to
our
the one
show.
at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, well, loved up.
No, it's because they like Roddy. Wait, I gotta tell you a true story. We were watching the other night. I went to bed and I looked up my phone and I was watching Roddy. It's the night you had the Australian jersey on doing your 25 push-ups.
Yep.
And before bed, I was like, oh, Roddy doing his push-ups. Clicked on the thing, I watched it. And then the Sheila was in the bed next to me. And then I woke up in the morning and she was like, we both woke up. She goes, oh, I had the worst dream. And I was like, oh, what happened? She goes, oh, I had a dream. And I was like, tell me about it. Go tell me. And she goes, oh, righto. And she goes, that guy, who's that guy? And I was like, what guy? She goes, the guy in the video doing the push-ups. I was like, oh, righty. She's like, yeah, I went to his house. And I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. So
He raped her?
no, she goes, I went to his house, but like, I wasn't forced. I went intentionally, which is weird. And I was
They
like,
normally do in the old days. In the old days when I was single, yeah, if you went
she
there.
goes, I went intentionally, and I was like, oh, this is getting fucking going from bad to worse. She goes, no, I was there, and I thought, oh my God, I've cheated on Dane, oh my God. She goes, and then my friend came and picked me up, and then I didn't know what happened. I was like, wait, stop. The story can stop right here. You went to Roddy's house intentionally? What the fuck's going on? And that was my Thursday morning, and I almost cried.
How long did this poor girl sleep for? That's
Not
a 12
long
hour
enough.
story.
She's obviously stewing over you for a long time,
Yeah.
Roddy.
Well, what about
It was
how,
all about the form, brother, the form.
What about how back in the day that they called it, the girls called it regrets, and
Yeah.
then they learnt this name that is called rape. So it used to be regrets, and now it's called rape.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're like, oh, I wish I didn't do that, you say, oh no, rape, and then now you got $500,000 in your pocket. It's all
I'm
good.
sure you've got a lot of good stories from your youth there, Freddie.
Wait, what guess we got on, motherfucker?
Oh, well. Now we've brought out the big guns. South Logan playmaker, former, were you Bulldogs 20s?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bulldogs 20s, East Tigers, former Keebra Park student, and Sunny Coast Falcon, Guy Hamilton. Hamo, welcome aboard, brother.
Thanks for having me, boys.
And then we bring a man who needs no introduction. Known far and wide in every rugby league community. Has a good relationship with Cody Walker. This
Great one.
he has a bit of a show, a bit of a podcast that's got about 10,000 likes.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone likes
Go
it.
north. Yeah.
Selling
Mr.
short
Kimmy Ingebrigtsen.
Righty,
How are you?
mate?
I'm
Go
great,
on.
brother. Thanks for coming along. Freddie, he knows how to pull a guest.
This is 2-time guest
Yeah,
King
you're going
Ingebrigtsen now.
good, man.
Don't worry about it.
how do you get all these people on? Because
Yeah.
we don't. It's not the budget.
Yeah, well, it's this week actually. I was just talking to Kimmy, and we're talking about just like what he's doing, and because the way that he's doing it, and how we'd like kind of feeding off each other with ideas. And Kimmy and we're talking about, oh, what about cuppers? And then Kimmy just threw out straight away Guy. And I remember I did one pre-season at East, and Guy was there. I think Guy was coming into your Colts year, and I picked up on it because that was Fish was like Triggs was coaching, Fish was strength and conditioner. And most training sessions, we had to do 1.2s to start our fitness, or we had to do a 1.2, then they'd make us do another one. And I'm a fit motherfucker. I'm very competitive. And this little motherfucker, as a Colt, was in front of me and also not gassed that much. Had enough in him to be going, oi, Freedy, keep up with this shit. Let's go. Keep going. And he was the only one out there doing it as a younger kid back then. I was like, fuck, this cunt's legit. So that's how I remembered Guy. And also just I did the whole pre-season before Christmas. And I thought, yeah, it'd be a legend to get on, and obviously watching what he's been doing lately, and still has a fucking, what are you, Guy, 25? Yeah, 25, and still got hopefully some fucking NRL games to play. And then I thought, and Kimmy and even Triggs reached out and said he'd be a great guest. So
did you go straight to East after Kebra?
Yeah. So I finished school and sort of didn't really know what I was going to do after school. So I played in a Gold Coast comp for a bit, and Benny King, who was Triggs' assistant, sort of reached out to me and said, "Why don't you come to a pre-season with us? We'll chuck you with the boys and see how you go." And so yeah, just went to East for a bit of an opportunity, I guess, in pre-season, just to think I'd play a bit of Colts, and yeah, lucky enough to sort of meet Trigger there, and within like probably 2 or 3 months, I was sort of down in Sydney then with the Dogs.
Yeah, nice. How was that, mate? Like, were you staying at Belmore or something like that? 'Cause
Yeah. So my sister was.
it's always an eye opener going to Belmore, let alone living in Belmore.
Yeah, my sister was down there when I first moved down, so I stayed with her for a bit, but then moved into the Doggies house.
So what year were you down
True.
in Sydney playing for the Dogs?
Would have
Or
been
in the 20s system?
would have been maybe 2014, 15.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So what, you went from the Dogs and then you came back and then you made your cup debut up here for East, or?
Yeah, so I came back. So Triggs was at East, and I
Yep.
came back. I signed with East then, because one of my things in my contract was if I didn't sign full time, if I'm going to come back to play Cup, I was going to come back to East, because they obviously got me there. So I came back, and then unfortunately, like that pre-season, I think it was, or Triggs just signed with the Falcons, so I had to stay at East.
Yeah.
So I played a year at East, and that's when I made my debut.
And then after that year at East, you went up to Sunny Coast to meet up with Triggs again and played Cup up there as well. Yeah,
So
nice.
made the grand final.
Yeah, we had a really good year.
You win 18 games or something that year? And
we went on a bit of a
successful
run. We had a
year.
pretty fair side, considering the players that are playing great
Yeah,
now in that
nice,
team. Yeah.
nice.
I was there cheering for you when PNG beat you. It was me and 4 other people cheering for Sunny Coast.
Yeah, I know. I felt like I was in PNG.
Yeah, and that, like, it was a thing. As great as it was for the game, I felt bad. I felt bad for Triggs because I go, he's got to be due. But it was a fairy tale, you know what I mean? Then going into the World Cup and they hosted those games. We're getting ridiculous crowd, putting them on the map. It was it must have been horrible losing that. Like, you always felt they were coming. I said to a mate who come with me, I said, when he was leading 10-0 in the second half, I said, if they go again, they'll break their spirit. But if they let them score, the crowd's going to jump behind this. Yeah. Then they scored that one, and then it was Nailbite and then Jag that one right near the end.
Yeah, it happened so quick. I haven't even really watched the replay or anything. Sort of forgot about it.
I did hear a rumour too, and this is serious. Did your family get in a big blow up with Drinkwater's family over something in the crowd?
No.
Because a mate of mine said that he was sitting there and there was a blow up. You know how it's tit for tat at the end, and someone takes an option, someone's half cut. What the fuck did he do that for?
Probably
I don't know
man.
if it was you.
Would be
I don't know.
Man, probably.
Yeah, I don't know if it was whoever did what, but mate said he had a blower.
So
it's just a typical blow up.
I wouldn't have known who they were or anything, but no, that game's as a blur now. But yeah, I don't know. I think we were up 10-0. And we probably should have put them away
after Stimson scored that one from 40 out, ran a mad line. I thought they're on here.
Yeah, we should have put them away a lot earlier, but obviously with PNG, you give them a little sniff, mate.
Sniff, they'll come back at you.
What a side they had too. Like, those Boas brothers, like Watson and Asa, together they're unreal. Yeah. But like,
when you get them together, they're unstoppable.
Watson the runners, fantastic player. Like, he was killing it over there. You see why they had to get him back. But one's the organiser, and one, he can carve up anybody. I didn't think that. I was disappointed from the week later when they went to Penrith and got on the big stage.
Yeah.
When it was like 42-4 at half time, I thought this could get horrendous. But
Yeah, it could
they
get
hung in
very
there.
ugly.
I thought yous would have gone better, but you take your chances in life.
Yeah,
you
well,
know what I mean? GFs are like that.
They earned it, mate. They beat us and
Yeah.
had 80 minutes to win, and we
And
didn't. So
It was good for the game. Everyone put things on. Like now Fiji are in, what do you call it? Fiji are in Ron Massey. Ron Massey Cup. Not this year, but they played the one game.
So from that, obviously, from your grand final appearance for Sunny Coast, then you came back and you came into South, into their system. How did that come about? You just
I obviously it was a good year down at the Falcons. I really enjoyed my time there, and it was like a real tough decision. But it was just the sort of the travel. I was traveling back and forth, and I got a
You're
good-
coming from Brizzy.
Yeah, I was living at
Oh,
home still in
fuck.
Brizzy, so I was doing the sort of 2 hours up and 2 hours back each day. And
you're based down Logan area, like Roachdale.
yeah, so in Logan area. So I was 2 hours up, 2 hours back, sort of 3 to 4 times a week, and a lot of my mates that I sort of played school footy with and grew up with, and that all played at South. So I got a call from them, and I knew like sort of the situation with sort of Melbourne and the Falcons, that Jaxie and Drinky, and there's a few other really good players there that are sort of in my position sort of at the same time. So I just didn't really want to, sort of sit back for 2 or 3 more years and behind them. Obviously, probably not getting an opportunity that I probably wanted to through Melbourne anymore.
Yeah.
Because they are some pretty caliber players there.
Yeah.
So I thought, just take sort of an opportunity to go to South and be a bit closer to home and be with my mates and just sort of start enjoying
Yeah,
it.
which turned out to be a good decision. So since you've been at South, you've obviously been there 3 years now,
Yeah,
and you've become the leading point scorer in the in-trust for
yeah.
last season, and obviously it's cemented your place as the 5'8" of that side, and now as a goal kicking ace, you sort of looked at making your next step towards maybe securing some sort of an NRL future, or even just cementing your career in the in-trust.
Yeah,
in the South system.
Yeah, South. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it at South. We've got a good bunch of lads there, and I think it's a good club. It's a really good family club, and so if anything further comes on there, I obviously jump at it. But
Yeah.
you sort of sometimes just got to have a bit of luck in that scenario, sort of
Yeah,
thing, see
that's
what
it.
happens. And if you're playing good, someone will notice you, I guess, whether you're at South or
That's it. You just make the most of the opportunities that
yeah.
come
So
at
I'm
you.
just trying to focus on sort of enjoying it again, and
Mm.
just sort of for me, leadership is something that I sort of wanted to work on now, and I had the opportunity now at South to work on that. So as I'm slowly getting older, I guess, and these younger
Yeah.
kids are coming through that are really good, I like just sort of mentoring them a bit, and
Yeah.
obviously trying to teach them what I sort of
And do you
learned.
feel that now that you're getting a slight bit older, like obviously 25 is not an old age, but as a rugby league player, you're sort of starting to get towards your prime. You feel as if you're now more of a leader to the
Yeah.
young blokes. Like you're obviously in the cup system, you've been there for a while. Do you feel as if the younger blokes coming into the system, you're now more of a leader and more of an old head in the crowd?
Yeah,
So
definitely. I think it's a bit weird because like obviously like now with all the young freaks that come through, everyone in the NRL
there's
sort of
plenty
look
of
at
them,
young
yeah.
kids and they want the next 18, 19-year-old to develop and throw all their money at. But for me, I wasn't really the youngest sort of the best young kid. I think I'm still improving. Like for me, I might be playing my best footy at sort of 28, 29. I might like at 21, 22, I still had a lot to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you see blokes like we said, Tessie and these young kids that are just freaks now. That wasn't really me. Obviously I had a bit of talent, but I still had a lot to learn, and I still got a lot to learn. So for me, yeah, age is not massive for me because I'm still sort of learning. I learn off them as much as they'll probably learn off me.
Mm-hmm.
With that guy, the reason I spoke to Freddie about getting someone like yourself or like a Luke Page or a Cameron Cullen or someone like that on is to give the viewers like an honest, and that's what me and Ty do with our little thing, give the viewers like an honest idea of what professional footy's about.
Yeah.
Because I know you've been involved in like 3 systems of Dogs. So like go back to the Dogs if you can. You've done was it a year and a half or 2.5 years there?
Yeah, it was what was it? Yeah, 1.5. Yeah,
1.5 years there. So the back end of that second contract, like where are you at there? Obviously, in the back of your mind, you want to get a full time gig. And I dealt with the Dogs a lot. I know the guys at that time were pretty. They'd sort of tell you stories,
Yeah,
and they'd lead you on.
yeah.
What were they
for
like?
sure.
What were they like with you, Jimmy and Crush and Champs and them sort of blokes? Like, did they say, look, there's going to be a full time gig for you,
Yeah,
and then it just didn't happen, or
No, it was a bit weird. Like yeah, definitely. I was sort of coming to the back end of my 20s, and for me, it was like obviously moving away from home and being so far away, and that I just wanted to know where I stood. Sort
Yeah.
of.
Yep.
I just wanted to know whether if I was getting re-signed, if I wasn't, so I could focus on that.
Yep.
And as a young kid, It's 18, 19, and everyone's asking you, like your parents are asking what's going on, and you just want to answer questions, so take that sort of pressure off yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I waited for a while, and then sort of season, and I was captain too of the 20s, so I just wanted to know obviously where I stood.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear really anything for a while. Sort of came to the end of the year, and then they finally sort of didn't say really anything to me.
Yeah.
And then that's when my manager at the time said, well, you still got this obviously ace up your sleeve that's going back to East to play Cup.
Yeah.
And obviously it's pretty hard to go straight from 20s to NRL, so you're going to have to play Cup at some stage. So for me, whether if it was at the Bulldogs or whatever, for me, I'd rather, if I was going to play Cup, I'd rather play Cup at home anyway. So
Yep.
so I came home then, and obviously that sort of did defeat me for a bit. I was a bit down, thinking I thought I played a bit of pretty good footy in 20s.
Yep.
And whatnot, but then I was pretty lucky, obviously, having your old man, that person that sort of you come back to someone who still believes in you a fair bit.
I think that was going to be my next question, mate. How were you mentally? Like you didn't fail, but you're obviously gone down the Dogs. You've played 20s. You were the captain. They had some high opinion of you. Your goal was to get a full-time gig.
Yeah.
How did you feel not getting that full-time gig? And how did you cope with it and kick on to East?
Yeah, it's a good one. Obviously it hurts. Like when you're young too, you probably don't think about it. You don't process it as much. You take it a lot really personal. You think, it's just you they don't like.
Yeah.
But as I slowly now, I think like at the time they had, I think they had Hodgkinson, they had Reynolds, and they had thrown all this money at Moses Mumbai.
Yeah.
So for me, I was thinking, I was just in a spot where they were throwing all their money at a young kid who was really good.
Yeah.
So I probably did take it a bit personal, but now I look back on it, it's not really personal. It's just they're just doing it's a business these days, as we all know. And
yeah.
But yeah, I did come back. I did kick stones for a bit. I was down. You come back home. You think you've disappointed everyone. You think you've failed, like you said. But and then you sort of got dragged back up to play Cup. For me, that was pretty big too, because obviously grew up in Brizzy watching Cup. My old man played Cup and stuff. So playing Cup for me was still a success.
100%. I think with the Cup now, because it's on TV every Sunday, people know who you are. So that was my next thing I said to Freddie is get blokes on your show who people know, who people see on a Sunday, like yourself and the blokes I mentioned, because kids are now watching that just as much as they are watching NRL. Yeah. I think they can probably relate to Queensland Cup players just as much as NRL players. So I thought you'd be a good one for the lads that are 16 to 21. Yeah. I guess my next question, you go down to, obviously done the pre-season at Melbourne, and you've been involved in the pre-season with the Bronx and played an NRL trial at 25. You still want to play first grade?
Oh, definitely, mate. Yep. That's a dream, obviously, from 3-4 years old when I first started footy. You want to play NRL. I can't remember a time growing up from Friday to Sunday I didn't sit down on telly and watch every game of footy.
Yeah, perfect.
And for me, that's obviously it'd be a dream come true. Yep. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm at the point now where it's like, as long as I'm giving it my best, I'm still training hard. I'm still trying to play consistent footy. Yep. It's up to everyone else now. Yep. I'm putting everything I can out there, and if it's good enough, it's good enough. If it's not, it's not. At least I know that I didn't
had a red or crack.
Any stone unturned, for sure. So,
Guy, just sorry to cut you off, Righty. Guy, with that Melbourne pre-season, is there anything that compares with that to like the kind of mental, physical, like?
Nah, definitely not. It's a question that obviously anyone that goes down to Melbourne, everyone asks that because it's so stereotyped of the hardest training. But yeah, I can definitely confirm it's probably the hardest thing I've ever gone through.
Yeah.
We were there for about, I think it was 5 weeks. I think it was maybe borderline 5-6 weeks, and just the whole. I remember my first wrestle session like yesterday. I remember my first con session, like even the skill sessions. Like the skill session was by far the hardest thing that you did. Like everything was just at full pace. Everything was just so crazy. Like I consider myself so skillful, and then I got down there and I'm seeing these 110 kilo front rowers throwing 20 meter cutout ball, and I'm just blown away. Like just the standard they hold himself obviously through Craig Bellamy and whatnot, and then obviously finished with the camp, and that's just like. I still to this day, everything I do that gets hard at training in footy, I just compare to that camp.
And nothing like so it makes everything an easy road compared to that.
For sure, nothing to me is compared to that yet. Like you get tough sessions, obviously, on a Tuesday, Thursday night, getting put through con or whatever, and I'm just sitting there going like, this is fucking piss.
Nothing.
This is nothing. Like I've done this for 3 days straight. On the last day, fighting blokes, wrestling, and this is nothing. You know what I mean? I'm standing by. You stand by a tree and hold a pole for 9 hours, 6-7 hours, whatever it is, by yourself in the dark after 2 days no sleep. Like you hallucinate and seeing shit. Like a couple 100-meter sprints ain't gonna hurt me.
That sounds like Dane on a bender. That's
that with
20 minutes,
with that wrestle, do you appreciate the wrestle in the game because of the style that they do down in Melbourne?
Yeah, for sure. Like being sort of a half, sort of outside back, you don't really never sort of consider myself a massive defender, let alone a wrestler. So I didn't really know too much of it. And then obviously, you know, fucking learn pretty quick when you get down to first wrestle session against Nelson. They don't give a shit your size or anything. You're wrestling everyone. So there's a reason why they're obviously so consistent and, you know, always on top and always in the top 4 every year. And it just comes down to their hard work and the little 1%ers that they do every week.
Who was the standouts like when you were there? Like you thought, this is fucking tough, but there were some blokes who make it look easy.
Yeah.
I remember asking Gerald who were the standout blokes. He said in Origin camp, like he said blokes like Lockyer, Smith, and Slater. He said he was real fit, but he reckons they were like that next level where you'd be doing a conditioning thing and they could be jogging along talking, and he's fucking busting his ass ahead of everybody else, thinking, "You fuckers, how is this?"
100%. Yeah. There's 2 blokes definitely come to mind. And one was Curtis Scott at the time.
Oh,
And if anyone knows Curtis, he's got rocks in his head. Like, this kid just doesn't even think he's that tough. He's just mental. So I remember one session, we did like a massive wrestle session, massive con session. We'll finish him with skills, and they'll finish him with like a game. And like we're all just like everyone was out on their feet, just hurting. And he's made a break, and it's a 100-meter sprint, and everyone has to chase. And he had the ball, and he was spewing like dead set power spewing as he's running away from everyone. He just would not stop. He just kept running, spewing as he's running. I'm sitting there going like, "Fuck, this is next level." And then easily the best person I've ever trained with, seen train, was Billy Slater, and that was his first pre-season back from his shoulder after a couple of years out with his shoulder.
When a lot of people said he was gone.
Yeah, everyone, and that's something I thought too. I was like, obviously, like he's been out for a couple of years. He's going to be behind the pace and whatnot. And I've just never seen someone just consistently just
That goes
come at you
back
so
to,
quick. Like we're doing.
It goes back to last week. We spoke about Billy Slater going into those competitions back in the early 2000s where they did the fittest athlete, the Rex owners, and Billy Slater just dominated that sort of shit. You see, obviously, as Guy said, he comes back from. It wasn't even just one season. It was he had almost 2 full seasons off footy from a shoulder injury and comes back and just dominates an NRL quality preseason and the toughest quality preseason that we've known. And for Guy to say they go down there and see that Billy Slater's the best trainer he's ever seen, and that's after 2 years on the Pine. It's pretty impressive.
That was probably easily my footy career the best opportunity I've had. Just seeing how he went about things, like he was just crazy. Like, I remember just even skill sessions and stuff, we'll all be out on our feet, and then we'll go into a pose, and no joke, he'll just come up with numbers, and even in defence, like he's just so vocal and loud, you can hear him. Like, it just makes it so easy. I've never seen someone sort of have an impact on a session.
I'm sure that's how the under-16s feel when they say you play Freedy, I think.
Most of them are bigger than him. They're just not as peptided up.
Well, I also talked to the boys. So you've done that Melbourne pre-season.
Yep.
Spent time at East, Falcons, and even South now.
Yep.
What's it like when you train? You train with the squad Monday, Wednesday, but then you get all your allocated players back. How's that? How much distraction is that on the team? Having 6 or 7 guys. Well, at Sunny Coast probably 8 or 9 fly in, but at South maybe 3 or 4 come in that haven't trained with you all week. What's that like?
Yeah, it is hard for a player that's obviously they're full time, like at South or at the Falcons full time. You know, you train week to week, you build combinations, you build all this stuff, and you have a big preseason together, and then you get these players come back. And you look at it 2 ways. There's 2 ways. There's a way of looking at it is where it's like sort of unfair. You know, you put all the hard work in, you think you deserve the shot. And there's another way you look at it. If you're a player that's going to play, it's, well, we're getting the best of the best back.
100%.
You know, and if you look at it from a point where you want to win games, and that's the way that sort of I look at it, is you want the best team on the field. Whether it's 10 from NRL or 2 from NRL, like I want the best players around me to play. And I remember, and I look at as a coach, I think it'd be hard more than anything. And I remember, Triggs had a few tough conversations when we were down there, and JB had a tough conversation with me this year. I went from playing 5'8", captain 5'8", and we get Tommy Dearden back with Desi, and I had to play fullback. And
that was going to be my next question. You've got, mate, I actually picked you guys. I said alright, he'd be a top 2 or 3 side this year. I just thought your key position players were just spot on. But you've got Nichols, who I reckon is the best second tier half in the game.
Very
great,
and he can still be that for the next 5 years. Like, mine's like a Shane Perry or a Brad Davis.
That plays and didn't play.
Just play, and he's just got
controls
so much
the game
time
too. Yeah, he just looks like he has all day, and just as with the experience he brings too, it looks like he can bring any side to life just with experience, time, and just even when he's got a crop full of young blokes, he looks like he can just bring everyone into the game.
I just noticed just one game or one and a bit games with him. it's made it so much easier for me. So for me, I was organising everything the last couple of years, like trying to run everything.
He can just
And then
run.
he just
He can
did it
just
all,
let
and
you
all
do
I
your
had to worry
thing,
about was
yeah.
just running the footy or
Yeah.
looking up and finding numbers. Like that was just the
Exactly
best
right.
part about it. We did that for 65 minutes in
Yeah.
round one, and then we sort of fell away.
The second part of that is I know you got Tommy Dearden. Who's the other young
Tessie?
Tessie? No, and the hooker is it Pakes?
Oh, Corey Page.
Corey
yeah.
Pakes. He's
So,
unbelievable.
so,
as well,
so these
actually.
guys can play. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think picking the best South 17, I don't necessarily see them two guys in your best South 17. Like right now, that's just my opinion. Obviously, Tom Dearden and Corey Pace are going to play a lot of NRL, but I don't think they're in your best South 17. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to hurt you guys going forward. Because I think if you got yourself and Darren Nichols in the halves, is Cherrington still there?
Nah, he's left. No, he's
That's
gone.
the problem, I
I'm
think,
not sure
Kimmy,
where he went.
but
He might have went overseas, I think, but got bounced, so he might be in Sydney.
Well, I
or
just
something.
feel like if you've got your best, it's tough.
Yeah, and I know like for the Bronx, obviously they put a lot of money into South
100%,
and things
yeah.
like that, and that comes into, you know, they want to obviously. This is a sort of apprenticeship for these young fellas to
Yeah.
play, and if they want to play long-term NRL,
Yep.
this is their first stepping stone, obviously, to play against men and
Yeah.
play consistently against men. So in that sense, I know where South and JB and the boys, they have to play them.
They have to play 'em,
and
yeah.
and the money they're on are probably the Bronx. You know,
Yeah,
they can't
yeah.
be playing BRL, or they can't be sitting week to week watching.
But see, you look at clubs like Wynnum, who probably don't take as much from the Broncos.
Yeah,
They run their own side and just get a couple guys on top.
Yeah.
Where South's obviously getting more handouts from the Broncos. They're getting more kids and they've got to play them in the
Think-
spots at the Broncos. Same as the Falcons. East is a bit different now. East sort of run their own show.
yeah.
Where the
They
Falcons
got a
are-
Leeds club, but
100%
and,
money.
you know, financially,
Yeah, yeah.
they got the money to
Yeah.
toss up individual players, and that with South, we depend on at the moment. I know we depend a lot on players that just want to play for South or players
Yeah.
that want an opportunity.
Yep.
And then that's why we're probably happy to take the young
Yep.
Bronco players that are coming our way.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we can't really compete too much with teams like you know, East and Redcliffe and them, because they're
Yeah.
Leeds club and the money they financially bring in.
I
They're
know-
probably nearly financially richer than NRL clubs.
I know. Sorry, I know. Righty's about to bust both of his nuts to ask a couple of questions, but before he blows his load, with after the conversation you had with Rankin, Kimmy,
Yeah.
in an ideal world, are you playing at South where you want to be playing, or would you prefer to be at your fullback or at your 9 or your?
Well, it's hard. Like everyone always sort of with me, sort of tells me maybe I'm more of a fullback, so like sort of don't have to depend too much on controlling things, and I can just play footy. But I sort of love playing 5'8" just because I get more footy and I get the ball when I want it, rather than, as you know, these days fullbacks are at the back of plays and you wait to get involved. And for me, like, I'm never going to be a player that sort of can sit back and watch the game. I want to be in the game, sort of thing. So for me, it's like I'll play where I have to play every week. Like, I just want to play footy, but at the same time, if I'm playing fullback, I'll probably get on people's nerves because I want to come in and out of the game when I want anyway, because
Yeah.
that's just how I play. So I think JB expected that too, and he knows that too. So if he's playing me at 1, I want to be coming in and out. So preferably I'll rather play 6, but
Yep.
it's up to obviously the coaches.
I noticed last year watching you had a lot of those older boys, like Fenson and that always dug in. But a few of those other Broncos blokes, I thought they were just rolling up, collecting their money. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah,
day
good
that you
question.
played Sunny Coast and they were at their peak of their powers and flogged yous. And I felt sorry for the coach because he was the residence coach and he had
He had a
were
name
down-
at half time, didn't he? Poor
yeah,
bastard.
and you were down they'd picked the residence side. You're down by 36-4 or something at half time, and he's had to go over and talk about how good his residence side was when he should be in the shed talking about
Just rip it.
saving,
Yeah.
saving some face, and this is embarrassing. Some of those blokes, it wasn't just the South boys; it was the Broncos blokes.
Yeah.
So some blokes didn't really have much of a crack. Or when the game got out of control, I remember Bellamy used to have this saying, everyone's having a go when we're winning by 30. I want to see the blokes having a go when we're losing by 30. And those blokes then, they're playing to put pressure on the guys in front of them at the Bronx. You may not be going to win, but here's your perfect opportunity. Tear in the second half and get some good feedback to that coaching staff.
I think there's like obviously players know whether they're wanted or not wanted, but whether they know their opportunity is going to come.
Yep.
And a few of the players I think in our team last year, they knew they were on the outer at the Broncos.
Yeah,
They knew no matter how
like
good
say
they played.
Fenson.
Yeah, Fenno was
Because he got
50-50.
your
Well, he-
your best forward, didn't he?
Fenno,
but-
yeah.
but
And he's
he-
having a run around in camp.
He was
the
towards the
Canberra
back end of
I
his
think he
career
was,
anyway, same as Tagatese. Those
yeah,
sort of
they were
blokes, they're
both-
sort of always towards the back end of their
For,
career.
for
anyway.
instance, I'm saying like a player like a Paddy Mago.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, for me,
Now
was
he's
capable
at
of doing a
South
lot.
now.
You know what I mean? But he came back, and to me, I think he knew he might have been on the outer. He knew he wasn't going to get re-signed. He knew no matter how good he played, someone was in front of him, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
I agree with you on that 100%. Like I thought he was pretty average, but his trial game in the Charity Shield, he was
I
not the
know.
best player on the field when he
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah,
And
he
when,
turned the
as
whole
soon as he
game,
went to
mate.
South, when I watched him at the start of the year at South, it was unbelievable.
Mm.
And then you look at all the score sheets on him from the start of the year. All the
Yeah.
raps on him are
You'll be-
huge. And then you see him from last
be-
year, he couldn't get a run for the Bronx.
You'll be
And-
surprised, obviously, with a player what it does to him having a coach that believes in him. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
he goes
True.
he goes down there, obviously from here. I'm not saying Steve's didn't believe in him, but like
Yeah,
Yeah.
he might have. Obviously, there's a lot of good players at the Bronx
Yeah.
at the moment, young
exactly
kids.
right.
Then he goes to a side with Wayne Bennett, who Wayne Bennett likes aggression, likes
Yeah.
his tough, nutty forwards. He goes, you know what, I like you. I believe in you. Can you come give me your best?
Exactly, and it'd be
And
hard.
it's just-
It'd be hard for him too, breaking a side with a lot of young talent, and then obviously Wayne Bennett knows him as a bloke, knows him as a player, going down to a side who's got a lot of retiring forwards. You've just
Yeah.
lost Sutton, you've just lost Burgess.
Mm.
You need young tough forwards. Someone, especially losing Burgess, you need someone who's going to come in and enforce the game for you.
Yeah.
Mago's sort of that perfect sort of fit. So if Bennett looks at you and thinks, mate, you're my goer, you pump your own tyres up a bit and you
Sure.
get back into the game. So that's a great point. That might have been the
Yeah.
stepping stone to put
Just
him
a little-
towards playing that good in those trials,
Just like
which
that
is what we
little
all
fire
seen.
inside him again.
Jaden Sewell's perfect example.
Oh
He
yeah,
wasn't.
exactly
It was.
right.
I couldn't believe he was the same bloke who was carving on that edge in the NRL the year
It's
before.
the same as Corey Allen too. He was with us, and I
Yeah,
wouldn't
Corey
say he
Allen.
was struggling, but he didn't.
Not
To
doing
me,
what he was
wasn't getting
doing at
involved in the
South.
game,
Like,
and then he went down to South and was scoring tries off scrums and things. I'm thinking like little things like that. Just being in the right place at the right time. Opportunities come your way. You're happy mentally, physically. Coach believes in you. Like you just obviously do.
You
There's
better.
a lot of
say-
it too.
you-
Opportunity too is a lot
Yeah.
of it. I agree.
you say that about Curtis Scott in that preseason. He was the one the Sharks let get away. Like he was a Sharks junior,
Yeah.
and he was not getting in any trouble with the law, but he was just playing up with his mates, and his parents
Not
thought
yet.
he needed to leave
Not yet.
Sydney,
Mm.
and it was there all the cows. Would he have been as good if he had stayed at Cronulla? Like would he have been as good with Flanagan as his coach, who's a good coach some blokes love, where you go down there and he just bought into everything Melbourne
Yeah.
want to do,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
he wouldn't be that far off being a New South Wales centre if he has a consistent year at the Raiders.
Yeah.
Exactly right. But you also got to think that's a great point too. You think about a young bloke coming through, and he might be that exceptional at what he does, but then you think to make that extra step into the NRL system, is he that good, or is it just the system he's in? Like a bloke like Curtis Scott, he could have been that good at Cronulla, but could he have been NRL good if he didn't go to Melbourne?
Yes.
Like if he didn't have that Melbourne if he didn't
spot
work,
on.
if he
There's so
didn't
many
work that
examples,
hard
mate.
at
Yeah.
Melbourne,
So many. Look at Dane Nilsson.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Played Origin, leaves to go to the Warriors, and
Yeah,
ends up playing in Mackay.
exactly. Frizzles out.
You know,
and-
like even blokes like Adam Blair and
Yeah.
Sika Manu and like
great footballers.
Tohu Harris.
Exactly, great footballers. Look at anyone who leaves Melbourne, bro. Anyone who leaves Melbourne,
Righty.
there's massive question marks
neighbours.
over their name.
I remember for me, the 5 weeks I did in Melbourne, just spending day to day working on your footy. I remember that was probably the best year I've had footy wise
Yeah.
individually. Was that year after
Because
the
of that?
pre-season? Yeah, definitely comes down. I think how hard I worked there.
Yeah.
Your body would be that conditioned, but
Yeah,
from
for
that,
sure,
yeah,
and
exactly.
just physically, just mentally too. I was so keen to play footy. I was just so into footy, and then coming back to the Falcons where they were in the sort of same boat. Obviously, your old man just
Yeah.
loves and breathes footy. It was just all about footy, and I just thrived that year. I think just off the back of
historically,
that.
but anyone who's in the Melbourne system and comes out of it, like a lot of clubs obviously look at Melbourne forwards and think, wow, we need that in our system. Like obviously
Yeah.
the Titans have picked up Kevin Proctor on a big contract, thinking he was.
Yeah.
When they bought Kevin Proctor, he was
It's one of the best.
he
in the
was a
comp.
Kiwi.
Yeah.
He was a Kiwi back rower. He was one of the best going around, and he came to New Zealand and frizzled out. Joe Stimson's just gone to the Bulldogs. Not saying he hasn't done anything, but
He only played
Not-
one
yeah,
game.
exactly.
He's got a
Not-
shoulder
not yet.
reco.
Not
same
yet.
as Tohu
Exactly.
Harris.
exactly.
Yeah,
Tohu
Tohu
Harris,
Harris,
yeah, he's left. He's gone a ride
he
at
was
the
much-
Warriors,
yeah.
but like a lot of the blokes that come from Melbourne frizzle out a bit, which means. Obviously, you can see how much Melbourne emphasise on conditioning and
Yeah.
emphasise every bullet point. There's no stone. No
In
stone
saying
left
that-
unturned.
It'd be pretty
In
hard running
saying
off
that-
Smithy too.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Look what you got.
Exactly right.
Croft. when Croft would struggle in games, Smith would jump out to first receiver and Croft would go to dummy half and pass him the ball. Smith will take command of the game. Now Croft comes up, it's the same thing. Seabold seems like he's got heaps of confidence in him and he's taking command. Or those sort of thing.
I reckon Melbourne fucked up. The 2 comps they lost was when they pushed Hughes back to halfback.
Yeah, he can't
and
pass.
took Croft out.
See, it was a thing.
Mate, they were sitting on top of the ladder
And they
round
swapped the
23
halfback.
or something, and he got dropped. It doesn't make for
And
me. Like
it
you don't
was-
change your team that late,
But that's-
especially if you're on top.
A bit like your honest opinion. Is that the coach's decision, or is that influence from
players.
a leading, big
I'm not
player?
sure. I think.
'Cause if
For
you're
me, Hughesy has to fit your footy team up because
Yeah.
Hughesy for me is one of probably the best players I've played with. Like
Yeah.
I've seen him change games on. Like he's one of honestly the best players I've played
Well,
with, and
And at the
we'll see more of
time,
him.
Hughes was a better footballer than all-round footballer than Croft.
But
But I wouldn't have played him in halfback.
But Croft was a better half. You know what I
Especially
mean? Like, it was weird.
What you said's right, especially with a 5'8" who's a natural fullback as well.
Yeah, Money was playing
Like-
5'8". They're both runners. Like, and then in saying that, that probably, like you said, it could have been influenced by the fact that now Cameron Smith knew that he controlled the whole game.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
no half that was going to call the ball.
I still
'Cause
reckon.
I know what Crofty's like. Crofty is like he want the ball.
Yeah.
He's a controlling half. He's gonna tell you what to do, what to do. I think Cameron Smith loved doing that to everyone. Or probably
Yeah.
does like doing that to everyone, and obviously he's done it so well for so long.
When they had Harry Grant at the club, a lot of people laughed at me, but for me, I would have played Smith at halfback because I reckon you get the 2 best young nines. I reckon you got the 3 best hookers in the comp, all at Melbourne. Because
Yeah.
that Brandon Smith, mate, when he plays for the Kiwis, he's outstanding.
Yeah,
I
100%.
honestly reckon he could probably be the best lock in the comp too.
Yeah.
Like
But they got Finucane.
Yeah.
Someone sent me something. Finucane's played in 5 grand finals
Yeah, he
in the
did.
last 7 years.
he
like,
did.
You're a
Couple of
Bulldogs
the dogs.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they let him go.
Oh.
Like, wow, man.
But that was that management around the time. Then Crusher,
Yeah.
Jimmy Whitney, like God know that first. And they were just they were really big on buying like re-signing Cassiano, Eastwood, like big body blokes, and
yeah.
they let
They put a lot of their emphasis in to win that 1 year. I think, to be honest.
Yep.
And he's an example of what Dane was saying, big Cassiano. Great for the Dogs. Goes to Melbourne, doesn't quite fit in. It's not for everybody.
No.
Like George Rose. Rose is never going to be the fittest bloke, and he was playing good footy at Manly.
Yeah.
Going to a place where you had to be super
Yeah.
conditioned, and he probably played like 8 games for him, which is 8 games more than anybody in this room. But then he goes to the Dragons and played nearly the whole his season there.
Probably.
Yeah.
I was just hoping Guy had played one there because I knew the rest of us
I was
had.
like, guys, like, talk for yourself, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Kick me while I'm down.
Guy with the I got the mic, but going off a question that Triggs sent, was saying that he sees you like a Cody Walker that has the ability to play NRL later, like get that debut later. Cody got one earlier though, didn't he? And then
No,
went on
he
to
didn't
stint.
debut till 26. Yeah.
He was due
But-
to debut in 14,
Yeah.
but he did his hammy,
Oh, okay.
and they were playing Manly on a
Yeah.
Saturday night.
And he was saying you're more like you're a very X Factor style player. You know, you're going to break a game apart. Do you see yourself as that more than that you'd rather be with a half that takes control and then you can kind of do your shit on the side of that?
Yeah. Like I said before, I think for me it's like I think I actually am like getting better as I get older. Like a lot of people hit their prime, 21, 22. So like obviously young fellas, and they don't really obviously get any better. They don't sort of
They've peaked, haven't they?
yeah, and you see that a lot. Like players that everyone has raps on comes through and they only play a couple games of NRL. They might play a handful, 10 games of NRL, and then they don't really do anything. Like I don't like mentioning names or anything, but look at someone like an Ashley Taylor. Like
Ash
players
Taylor.
like Ashley Taylor. You look at him, Kane Elgin, these players that everyone was frothing player
Bo
of the
Henry.
year. They come
Yeah.
on
So
and
many of them,
and then they're like, oh, well, why aren't they freaks anymore? It's like, well, some players
But this
just naturally they don't get any better. They're the
This
best
is the
they're going
problem.
to get.
The problem with a lot of blokes that come into the NRL early, as you look at the reason that they've raised the age of like your debut age for the NRL to 18 is because we've had blokes in the past debut at 16, 17,
Yeah.
and then just
Jordan-
frizzle out or
Jordan
die.
Rankin's story.
Yeah, Jordan Rankin
You're at
debuted
high
at 16
school,
years
and
old.
they tell you you're in, and he goes to school for 3 classes
school.
before
He was a
before
great
the
chap.
school teacher said,
Exactly.
oh,
But
mate,
then-
go home. You
That's-
shouldn't be. And he said-
Exactly.
and I looked it up. He didn't play for 2 years, 2 years till he got
2.5
another.
years,
Till he got another.
But when you
first
get
grade
told
game.
that at a young age, or even 21, 22, and everyone's frothing, you get that, you lose that
You
bit of
feel-
hunger because you think like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? I've made it.
And
Like,
you feel like your cock's made of stone, and you feel like
Yeah.
you've made it, and you're
true,
a
yeah.
hero from now on. Like you don't need to worry about shit.
This happened with Freedy. He came off the World Cup success.
Off the World Cup.
Anyway, so he come to Mitchy and everyone kept saying, you know that guy from the World Cup, and I'd go, oh yeah.
Was it off the
The-
first World Cup or the second?
The first one when you
He's won right the first one.
Yeah, literally. No one was signing any of yous after that second one, brother. All right, you're lucky that Mitchy take anybody. Okay, after the second one, after you had your 15 minutes of fame, you played against you know, had that duel with Hayne. Everything was good. Then you rolled up
I think
to
I
Mitchy,
won that duel. Yeah.
and I think so too. People going, are you sure that's the guy, Righty? I went, yeah, that's the guy, the World Cup. And they're going, no, seriously, I saw him play on the weekend. Like, you know, you look slimmer then. You had a different hairstyle.
I
You
wasn't
had-
pushing needles then,
you-
bro.
I didn't want to say that, but we've gone down that track, haven't we? Then?
Wait, but I was going to jump. Thanks for burning me. But I was going to jump back, even with Kiba and that. Like, I go down and watch those fucking Year 12 boys.
Oh.
There's no way I'm getting in those sides.
Nah.
Yeah, like, and so what? Like with that, was it kind of setting you up mentally? You knew from that stage, you're like, fuck, this is the level that, and I got to just keep going from that
for
because
sure.
those
I think
schools are
that's
so.
100% where I got my my training from. Anyway, obviously they've smashed that into me from grade 8, 9 was obviously how hard we trained there was just ridiculous. And I like other than Melbourne, I reckon Kiba would train harder than anywhere I've ever been.
Did you play with Lamar?
Yeah, Lamar was my age.
Yeah, no, I used to
Yeah.
work with his dad. Yeah, good lad, Lamar. Every time I
Yeah,
run into
say
him,
that, say
hey
that.
brother, how are you?
Yeah, he was in my grade, but yeah, just the way like we trained crazy there. Like I don't think wouldn't even compare to cup training. You know what I mean? They just bash you, but
How many lads played NRL or were New South Wales a Q Cup from that side? From your side, like
my side,
yourself, Lamar's played. He made a debut.
Lamar debuted. Deloise Hoyter, at Wynnum now. He debuted, but with the Tigers.
Marion Savvy.
Maz is
He's
a freak.
You mentioned Della. He's a funny one. So I watched him play at Residence.
Yeah,
He had no manager at the time. I said, mate, I reckon you play NRL. So I was helping him out for a while.
yeah,
So I got him within 2 weeks. Got him a 18-month contract with the Warriors.
yeah. Telling us.
Decent money.
Yeah,
He's like, nah, I don't want to go back to New Zealand. I was like, oh, bro, no worries. End of the year, got him a 2-year contract with the Bunnies. About 85, 90 grand. Decent money. He's like, oh, I don't want to move to Sydney. I said, all right, look, he's becoming hard work here.
yeah.
And no, seriously. Then he goes, Broncos or the Titans. Titans wouldn't sign him. Titans said, we'll give you a full 16-week preseason. So most preseasons, as you know, are probably 8 weeks. Give him the full 16 weeks at $1,000 a week.
Oh,
You know,
Jeez.
but he had to
Handy.
go back to Tweed.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Wouldn't have
he
been bad.
goes, fuck, I don't want to travel from Ormo to the Gold Coast. he
15
goes,
minutes.
I want a contract with the Broncos. I said, mate, you're fucking hundreds. So I just said, bro, I'm done. Like he told me he wanted to play NRL again, but like he could play NRL, he could play
he's
footy, but
Capable of
just
easily playing NRL. Like,
you
but
knock back 3 contracts there.
that's like
Fuck.
you don't do stuff like that.
No,
Like, there's blokes like me, like who would kill
100%.
for bloody 16, like 1 week with an NRL team, let alone 16. Like you don't deserve another shot if you're going to turn stuff like that. Then.
Got 2 for you. You're saying you're developing later. Is that because you played a lot of touch footy, you think?
I haven't actually played too much touch footy.
Oh, you haven't?
oh,
Yeah,
good
no, it's
story.
funny.
Good question.
No.
No, I was always told he's a tough player.
Everyone says like even
Yeah.
like when I play on obviously on telly they always bring it up. Obviously Keeper's known for touch, but I never like really played any touch. I've probably played one little school comp, but other than that I've never really. I honestly grew up just frothing Benji Marshall,
Yeah, well,
frothing Benji Marshall,
yeah,
and he was known for everything and done
Everyone.
everything. So
Yeah.
I was always
Oh,
trying
Tries
shit.
everyone for us,
Man.
Benji
And
Master. You don't
That
feel
was
bad
my
about
that was
shit.
my era.
The second one of that, for any viewers or young fellas coming through, do you sit down at the start of the year and write some goals out? Whether it's to win a comp, play a residence, get a preseason. Look, do you actually sit down and physically write that down?
As an
or-
as an extension to Kimmy's question, not even just team goals, like personal goals. Like obviously, your goal is obviously to win the premiership, but like team goals is to make maybe it's to make the Brisbane side, or maybe it's to make like the residence rep side.
Yeah.
But do you personally write down own goals? Maybe I want to score 6 tries this year, or I want to bring my side into the game more, or anything like that.
Yeah. I got a big whiteboard that I got in my room, which I have it in front of me every day, and always at start. I wouldn't say start of the year, but usually start of pre-season. I put down what my goals are for my pre-season.
Yep.
And my usually first one is always putting on weight, because
Yep.
everyone always obviously has a crack, and you probably know a bit about it. Like everyone always has a crack about your size, and something I really can't control too much because I've tried everything.
Yep.
illegally. You know, like I've tried everything. I've proteins, I've
Yeah.
weights, everything.
If you need to walk the illegal track, I'm got a contact for
You're
you.
in the
He's
perfect,
nearby.
you're in the
Another one
perfect
who's-
room for that.
Another one
buddy.
is exactly like that's Paddy Templeman.
yeah,
I know Paddy had that
Templeman's heat.
full time year at the Dogs, when they played the grand final 2014, but he just can't put weight on.
yeah. Well, I'm the same. I must be. I'm not sure what it is. Obviously, my mum's side or something, but just I've been legit the same weight now for probably 4 or 5 years, and I've gone on eating. I could eat anything, like honestly anything,
Yeah.
and then I'll go back to training within 1 week. I'll be back to the same fitness, same weight. Like I just can't change. I've tried everything, but can't really do much.
Mate, you got any European or UK heritage? or
I've
no?
tried. Trust me, to get
Nothing?
over the Super League, do something. Just try and
You-
make some more money.
You got nothing?
Nah, nothing.
Nothing,
Nothing.
yeah,
Just
right.
a.
And do you notice the weight out on the field, guy?
Yeah. I reckon if I even put on 2 or 3 kilos, I just feel slower, and it's something
Yeah.
I always like being real quick, trying to be the quickest. So
Yeah. One of the things I kind of heard, and I liked me, like how you said, like with me, I struggled big time to put on weight. Was everyone's the same weight when we're fucked out on the field? You know, like
Yeah.
everyone comes down to the same weight,
Yeah.
and like, obviously your cardio gets you
Yeah.
through that to a point where, when those bigger cunts are fucking starting to settle down, then we're the same weight because I'm gonna flip you
yeah,
and shit
yeah.
like that.
But like that's not what a person trying to sign you looks at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A person
Yeah.
like if I walk into a room, they're thinking about signing me, and they're like, I walk in at 78, 79 kilos, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, he's too small. Like they don't probably give a shit at that point. How good you've gone the last 10 minutes of the last round, you know what I mean? They look at you physically and stuff like that. So
With that though, that was probably like 10 years ago. Times are changing now because clubs used to try and sign you as a 10-year player.
yeah,
Now clubs only want you for 1 year and they'll spit you back out.
yeah.
So I think like Corey Thompson's a good example. So he was playing
I watched a good thing on him the other day actually
yeah,
about how
Crown Sports Management shit. Yeah, he
good.
was
Great
playing he was
example.
playing pub footy with me brother. They
Yeah.
played in the Brisbane under 20 pub footy rep
Yeah.
side.
Man, my mum's boyfriend Scotty was his coach, and he speak.
Macravat?
Yeah, Scotty Mather was his coach.
Yeah.
My mum's boyfriend. He got massive,
You don't like Scotty, do you?
got massive raps on
Yeah.
on Corey for that. He goes, yeah. Same story you were telling. He goes, yeah,
Yeah.
massive raps on him.
What
He
was
just,
your mummy last night?
oh,
Oh, you've opened
you're
the
an
door.
absolute hero. How about I don't give you this
But
mic
like,
again? You
he'd be
fuckwit.
no heavier than you. Like he'd only
Yeah.
be
Nah.
80,
Yeah,
84,
exactly.
85 kilo.
I got down to the Dogs. I think it was a year after. Obviously, I think Triggs or someone got him down there as
Yeah,
well.
I took him down there.
Yeah. So I went down there the year after.
he went
and
there in 2013.
I met him then, and I thought the
Yeah.
same thing. Like he's not a big bloke, but
No.
I rate him
Just
as
a
footy
goer,
player.
bro.
Yeah.
Just a competitor.
Cracks, has a crack at everything.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's having gone
Who'd
good
you
at
have
times.
in your 20 side that were, played like decent second tier footy and that?
Our captain, my first year was Adam Elliott.
Yeah, he
And
goes hard.
I think the start of his season was actually looking really good. I thought.
And Dean Pay absolutely frothed Adam Elliott. Like
Oh, mate,
you
Oh,
can
yeah,
tell
wouldn't
Dean
it?
Pay thinks Adam
if you meet
Elliott's
if you meet
fucking-
him, if you train with him, like you'll know why.
I've seen him do it. He's done.
yeah.
He's
my
done
first year.
He's a
My
legend,
first year, I
Crider.
was a bit young.
He's up playing with me brother now.
Yeah, I see him.
Jack the Rack, they call him.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Adam
wonder
Elliott's
why.
done
Yeah,
it.
wonder why. Yeah.
Adam Elliott's Adam Elliott's done a few interviews with YKTR, and I've watched a few of them, and he's done a couple with Dead and Camp on Bloke in a Bar, and you just look at him and you think, like, from the perspective I had of Adam Elliott beforehand, before hearing him ever talk or ever seeing him in a public standpoint, from just watching him play footy, I always liked him as a footballer. I thought he was a goer, and he's always been very aggressive and 100%.
Yeah.
And then you hear him talk about himself playing footy and that, and then you watch him again, you see him in a different light, and he definitely is a goer. And after seeing him play City Country in 2019, I think it was, he fucking come out and threw both fucking cans at the City Country,
Yeah.
and he's definitely a footballer. And
Yeah.
the Bulldogs have definitely looked at keeping something, and for Dean Pay to keep him in his side over Reece Martin, that's definitely
He's
definitely big props to Adam
he's a
Elliott.
goal. Yeah, he's definitely a goal, and he's just real loud. Like
Yeah.
he's
He
he's
seems
one of those
like a real
blokes you walk
vocal
into a
type,
room and
yeah.
his energy is just it's crazy. It's unreal. So he was one of them. I don't know who else really kicked
Who
on.
coaches?
Scott Murray.
Oh, Scott Murray.
He's
yep.
assistant coach, I think, at Redcliffe now.
Yeah, he's running the school program already. Yeah.
Scotty Murray. And Brad Henderson.
Hendo, yep.
He was at Falcons before I got there.
Hendo's, I think he's still there, isn't he?
I think he does New South Wales Cup.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, Hendo
he's a
coached
real
me
good-
in
real good
Fogs.
fella.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a legend.
Legend.
Did he have
man.
you in Fogs, did he?
Yeah, had me in Fogs.
He'd be top 5
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
blokes I met in footy. He's
Ah,
just the
yeah,
funniest.
and just like tell you everything to your face, and then
Yeah,
he
no
was at
fuss,
Fogs when we were playing like Paul Stanley's West Boys, like
Yeah,
yeah.
wow.
But what the fuck was I grabbing this mic for? There was something about. Oh yeah, what we've been asking this lately. We asked it to Julia. She kind of dodged it. But your best coach that you've had and your worst coach.
He loves. He loves it. No one's answered the worst, so don't feel bad if you're not throwing anyone under a bus.
Oh, anyone who knows me knows I tell it how it is. Like, fuck,
Oh, this is good. You can
Yeah,
come back
let's
every
go.
second week, bro.
We got someone with a set of balls on. Let's go.
I don't know about the worst. Like,
Oh, there it is.
I'm
I'm
actually trying to think.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think who the worst coach is I've ever had. Like, best coach I've ever had was easily Triggs. Personally, like obviously I got along with him really well. Footy wise, I've probably never learnt more of someone in the year I had with him, or year and a bit I had with him. Footy wise, I think it was the most I've learnt, probably the most I've progressed through my footy in 1 full year with him. Probably the worst. Fuck it. I'll probably be. Wouldn't be the worst coach or person or coach. Probably just the one I didn't really was Scott Stipple at East. I didn't really see eye to eye with him. And
I've never met the bloke, but I know a few blokes who used to play against him as kids and that. There aren't a lot of. There's not a lot. Yeah, like
you were there with me that year, weren't you?
That's Sybil was there, but I didn't play that year. But
I don't not like him. Like I got along with him a little bit, but last was a bit of a lie. We didn't really see eye to eye,
Clash.
but I don't know. But at that age too, I thought I was fucking red hot. I thought it was the best thing going around. He was probably looking at me like
10 foot tall.
Yeah.
Bulletproof prank calls.
He won a couple of Fogs titles and he had gun side. And a bloke said to me once when I ran into him at the races,
You go to
that
the races, right?
he goes, yeah, I don't mind a drink here and there.
a bit of punt.
Yeah, a little bit. I got a lot of
How'd
mates
you go
who are
at
bad.
Wagga
Wasn't much at Wagga.
Nah.
This bloke who is now a current Queensland Cup coach said to me that Roscoe, who
is
was
it?
big manager, he said
Who is it?
he said Roscoe could have coached those two teams to premierships. This bloke can't coach.
Who said that?
I can't tell you, but
No, who
he.
said that?
Well, think about cup coaches, and you work out who would have been at East. Since then.
Kim, you're up, bro. We got no. Me
It's
and
not
Freddie got
hard.
No idea.
I'm struggling.
It's not hard.
He's coaching.
It may be in a land offshore.
Why don't you
Up
just tell us
north.
the name?
Over in PNG.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I actually waved to him yesterday. He's in Brizzy.
Here's one for you, guy.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that there's going to be a southeast.
Yeah,
Sorry,
great
Righty
question.
broke the news.
Oh, I didn't
There's,
love it.
there's going to be a
Right.
southeast comp happening.
Everybody was messaging
So
me.
here's
He
an
flicked it to
exclusive
me.
here.
He flicked it to me, Roddy, can you break this? He didn't want to go hard because they're booming. So he thought, right, I'll go with this. And I did. I messaged Jono first. I
And he got
messaged
message
Triggs.
after message.
And then everyone's floating in. I messaged Triggs too. And he was right on it. Like, he doesn't mind. Triggs told me the other day they hit Channel 7, hit him up for a bit of an interview, but he declined because he said, I don't know anything yet. So I don't want to go on there. And
Nah, he
just
wouldn't have
doom.
declined.
No, he loves it.
He would have went on and said something.
100%.
Would have told him he's
What-
getting the gig NRL or something.
What are you hearing? Is it going to be a southeast comp?
So what we've been told, everything's just obviously getting filtered back from the slow decisions they're
Yeah.
making. We got told the other this week that it was looking like there's 6 cup teams that have said yes.
Yep.
And there's a few that are obviously trying to sort it out. I think it was Tweed.
I think the Falcons
And
may
Falcons.
not.
Yeah, I think it was Tweed and Falcons that possibly were meant to be doing in their own comp within their
Oh, yeah, in their
suburb,
district, yeah.
their district or
Like
something like that.
Ipswich said they'd do it.
So I think it was us, Wynnum, Norse, Redcliffe, East, and possibly was it Ipswich. There was
Ipswich
6
said
of us-
they'd
there was
go
6 of
either.
us.
Said they didn't mind either
Burley?
way.
Oh, Burley.
Oh,
went
Burley,
too,
of course,
yeah.
yeah.
It might be
Burley were
7.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they
That's
said
not
Which is
there was a 10. They were looking at
really.
10 weeks. They were looking at starting in August, finished end by October, late October or something. That's the dates and that we got.
Yeah.
Then I had a sort of conversation with someone pretty high up at our club, and what he was saying to me yesterday was that he's not 100% confident that it will go forward at this point, just purely because of
There's a lot
the fact of payments. Like
Yeah.
for me, obviously I'd play for free, but there's a lot of blokes obviously on good coin that.
I was about to
yeah.
ask you, guy, talk to me. If they say to you, you can go play for Normanby for $50, $100 a win, would you go play for Normanby in the BRL if this Southeast comp doesn't eventuate?
Not too sure because I'm hearing there's some good coin out in Toowoomba.
Oh yeah.
But
Gundy.
yeah, I'm hearing
Gundy,
getting a
yeah.
few texts off the
You've
boys
heard
out in
it, you've heard
Toowoomba
it.
that there's a bit of coin getting tossed up out there.
Gundy.
Righty, we'll round some money up at Mitchie, yeah?
Yeah, we could.
I'll ride some
Kim,
fucking pine.
Raz,
I just noticed
I got
before.
$30
Yeah.
in my wallet. Bro.
I
You
just
come
noticed
over, Mitch.
before that you're trying to get Mark Offerdale on
Yeah.
Footy Talk.
Yeah.
Have you felt that you?
Mate,
Rookie error.
Here's
Rookie
one for
error,
you.
brother.
Mark Offerdale was chasing a half.
Yeah.
$1,100 a game cash. Well, that's some fucking good money.
Because I've got a player on our team that's from Orange, the Sims, and
Yeah.
he's been knocking on my door for the last month now.
Is that Michael Sullivan's team?
I think
Yeah,
he
Mortimer's
Dubbo-
coaching
he was
now.
there,
Mortimer's
Dubbo.
Yeah,
captain
right.
coach there now, I think.
Okay.
And then another one out in Toowoomba. So I'm
What are they
trying to.
playing?
Hey.
Who's the club in Toowoomba? Gundy?
Oh no! Just Das, one of the boys,
Oh.
Das, who he's played out there last year with him,
Yeah,
and they said that they're throwing a bit of coin, but
Yep.
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure at South.
But like,
the
if
goalies.
South say to you, you've signed on, you got to go play for normally $50 a game. Do you risk injury for 10 weeks for $50 a game?
To be honest, I don't
What do you
know.
do for a gig?
But
So
think-
I'm a landscape or property maintenance man.
Where you could go to somewhere like Ipswich Brothers.
or like
who
West
have-
Mitchie.
yeah,
Well,
have
obviously
heaps of
wouldn't be able
coin.
to because of Salt South.
Yeah, Salt
I think
South,
they did a thing too through this whole period. There's no players.
You
swaps
can't-
or
Oh
No,
yeah,
no.
you couldn't just go same thing. Oh mate,
Yeah.
come play with us. We could use some halves,
Yeah.
and we'll top you
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Even
I-
if we couldn't use that.
like obviously I'm missing footy so much, but at the same time, playing in a comp that obviously I'm not too sure how. I'm obviously anyone knows me knows how competitive I am. I don't
Yeah.
know if I'd enjoy. I don't know if they'd enjoy playing with me. To be honest, how serious I'm.
Do you have
Those-
a guy? You got a missus or you single?
Single.
You make some money on OnlyFans for show.
What's that?
Quick, OnlyFans. What's
What's OnlyFans?
Yeah, I haven't heard of this either.
All right, so yeah, I know. So OnlyFans is like so porn stars and stuff on Pornhub, but or just like but yeah, Instagram chicks, like hot Instagram chicks, will set up an OnlyFans. So that's where you have to pay for a subscription to see them get their kid off.
Do the women do that with
Yeah.
Dane?
What's it? Nah, he pays them to watch. But anyway, OnlyFans. So you set up an account, and since like when we posted that we were having you on, I had a couple of my mates.
No, not a chance.
I had a couple of my mates message and be like, "Yeah, that guy should go on OnlyFans for sure." So
I've never
yeah,
heard
it's
of
a
it.
bit of a side gig. And
Can you
You
get
get paid for
people to contact Guy via his Facebook?
pardon?
No,
Yeah, yeah.
No
Yeah.
socials. I'm
I'll-
on no
I'll-
socials.
Oh yeah.
I'll take 1% of that.
Oh, there
I'll
we go.
help negotiate.
Come here for a chat. Come out with the manager.
Yeah, good. have,
I'll have
have you
0.5%
thought
of
about
whatever
going to
Kimmy's on.
France or something else?
Nah.
Not yet?
Oh, no. I got a bloke got in contact with me. I think where was it? Might have been France, something like that. But the money I was getting at South
Yeah.
was nearly better than. I said to him, I wouldn't say no to it, but I'm not going to move over to another country
Yeah.
for the same money when I can get it and live with my family and whatnot. So
Yeah.
But obviously I'm slowly getting older, so.
When's the sort of deadline that they'll make a decision on this Southeast Queensland comp?
Well, I think, because that thing they dropped the other day with the months when everything's reopening,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
July they said they're slowly opening. So we got told, I think, in the next week or two we could be allowed to have groups of 10.
Yeah,
And if that's the case, we're going to go back to
Saturday,
training. We're going to go back
Yeah.
to training in groups of 10.
There's
Yeah, good.
And that's for us. That's for me is massive because I'm losing my plot just sitting at home doing
Dano,
nothing.
there's a training session at Mitchie on Sunday Arvo if you're interested.
Elaborate.
Well, I can't really because I'm a coach to encourage people to break
So
isolation
are you the
laws.
coach or assistant coach?
I'm assistant coach and I do
if
everything.
you're
With
talking-
two sides. How am I assistant coach for fucking two sides?
If
dude?
you're talking about the training session where it's me versus Callum Stewart in a
no,
hooker challenge.
that's early on. No, but
you-
there is
are
an
you-
actual
because it's
knock.
almost a no contest.
Is he the
because
culture? Is he the culture?
Yeah, the
He's
culture coach. Yeah,
culture, yeah.
Oh, we
There's
come
always
here
one,
and
there's one.
oh,
And they need it.
That's right, man.
Oh,
You
fuck.
need, they,
We
you
need someone who knows something about something because our head coach knows nothing. Sorry,
He's
Clint.
all right.
I'm sorry, Clint. Oh, Clint, I'm sorry.
But
I'm
you
really sorry.
gave it to Clint the other night I was
Oh,
here, and he's
geez.
still copping it.
Yeah, he's still cold.
It's because he won't come on and defend himself.
yeah,
We've
right.
invited him 40
Yeah.
times.
Freedy started a rumour up about the other bloke I coach with, that he had cancer.
No, he does.
And then
He does chemo and curls.
yeah,
That's
and all
he
this,
does.
and then when someone said to him one day, "Oh, you're the bloke. Are you the bloke that's got cancer?" He goes, "No, mate. No, that's bullshit." And then he messages me and goes, "Will you please?" I rang him and he goes, "Can you please fucking stop telling people?" I go, "It's not me, cunt. It's Freedy."
I'm
and
on
he's
Freedy's team for this
And
one.
I
eh?
go, "He's not. You know, he's
I'm
not
on
going to
Freedy's
stop."
team.
And then And then when we were out, because I coached Uruguay and we played over at St Brendan's, and someone come up to him and goes, "Oh, you're the ones coach at Mitchell," and he goes, "It's good that someone remembered that I'm a coach." And normally blokes come up and go, "Have you really got cancer? Are you right, mate?"
Guy, who's the best player? I always ask this on my show my entire life too, because we've played with a couple that probably should have kicked on. Who's the best you've played with? Yet to play first grade or probably won't play first grade.
Yeah, someone you think you should have had it.
Not too sure.
I remember watching Templeman when you would have been playing with him, and he was that point scoring beast. And then he played New South Wales Cup for a year, and he still was good. And I thought, sure. And then they didn't resign him. I thought, surely he's good enough
Mate, he
to
was
be
actually
top
on
30.
standby. So that 2014 grand final, the whole week, he trained at halfback because Hodkinson's knee was busted.
Oh, and he
I think there might be
Yeah.
a bit more to it, but like with him,
Yeah, yeah,
no, I think his footy is not his downside.
yeah.
To be honest, I think his footy's pretty
Yeah.
good. To be fair, but
Yeah.
Back
I'm
to
not
the
sure.
original question.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think someone who's very, very unlucky that hasn't played probably 200 NRL games for a club is Fogarty.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I think
yeah, he's good.
like I've played against some blokes that have controlled the game. Like he probably just doesn't run the field every time and that, but he's another sort of Croft for me. Like he
Yeah.
controls the game pretty well, and someone that every time I've played against him, he's nearly controlled the full game, even when I'm playing in the same position. as
Mate,
him.
you look at that grand final and you're way up. I said it to a mate. I might have said it after a couple of beers watching the game.
You
But
said it to me when I saw you at
but
Ready
you look
Leagues
at-
Club too.
Mate, you look at that Burley spine. They had Pythians played NRL, Fogarty, Polatini,
Curtis
Rowe.
Oh, they
Then you
just-
look at the Wynnum one. None of them had played NRL.
Nah, and that was a downfall.
All great players like
Yeah.
Curtis Rowe
Scarlett.
played
Scarlett.
unbelievable. Too.
He's-
Templeman.
How underrated is he, Curtis Rowe?
How good!
Like, dominates in that structure. They
that
have at-
grand
at
final they
Burleigh,
played,
like,
Curtis Rowe was
They just sort of
unbelievable.
everything's covered.
Yeah.
You've got
I thought
everything
Curtis
to
Rowe, did
balance.
Curtis Rowe get the man of the match?
I feel
Yeah,
like
again.
if he
He
didn't,
was
he
free
should
on
have, because I
But
feel like
Fogarty was
No,
good
he did.
too, though.
just watching that game, I feel like Curtis Rowe just proved how good of a
See, I
player
went to
he
school
was.
with Curdy, and he's always been a freak
Another
too.
keeper
He
boy.
played first grade at the Tigers, I think.
He did.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, right.
Then,
So
then he came back.
It's like even watching that grand final they played, I feel like without him there at the back, I feel like they might have still won, but I feel like it would have been a lot harder without him bringing that ball from the back. He was just so safe. Like
Yeah, he is. He's
it's
so good on the
just
high ball.
like you can just imagine him, like a ball goes up and you just think, oh, it's safe. A grubber kick comes in, safe. Nothing.
But mate,
It just
you
doesn't
look at a
look
couple
like
years ago
missing.
at Burley. He was sort of on the outer bit because they had Hanari Wells.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thomas
yeah,
and Resident.
Can he
fullback,
score
right,
tries or
yeah.
what? That
100%,
bloke,
like,
Hanari
he's
Wells.
fucking quick.
Yeah.
Hands.
Is he done now?
And he went
Yeah,
to
his brother actually was going pretty good too, to be honest. Dallas.
yeah, I remember
Yeah.
seeing him at the program.
Yeah, he done his knee. He was doing real well. And he did a preseason with the Titans, I think, and played a few trials and saw him real good. Then he done his knee, unfortunately for him. But I
I'm
haven't
gonna
seen
go
him
back
since.
to I'm gonna go back sort of towards Kimmy's question for you guy. It's not going to be like who's the best player who never made or anything, but like who out of the players you've played with, obviously you're going to be younger guys. Who do you think the blokes you're playing with now or you have played with are going to progress on to do things?
First name I think of straight away when you think about young kid coming through the best. I think in 10 years' time, I think we'll be talking about one of the best forwards in the game ever is Fafita.
Yeah.
Oh,
He,
my
mate,
God.
like,
You-
he,
yeah.
like,
You were
for-
playing that day when you beat him, and he scored that try from the scrum.
Yeah, that was
and
his first
Conlon
touch in
and-
cup.
And
He
and
came off the bench in cup. He played 18s,
Yeah.
and because it was mandatory
He was
from the
scoring
Bronx
4
boys to
tries a
play
game.
the
Yeah.
whole comp of 18s
and
first.
he was
And
that
because he
quick.
couldn't stop scoring tries, it was ridiculous.
I've never seen anything like it. He's come on the field, on scrum, interchange, and we've gone and give him a run. And,
And
the
he ran
first
over
run,
four
first
people,
run,
yeah.
he's just taken a run and outrun, like you said, Conlon. He'd outrun. I think it was
Barber
Marlon.
kind of dropped off the
Marlon.
race.
I remember when he was playing, when like that debut
That's
season
18
he
years
had in
old, mate.
cuffs,
That's-
and he was 17. He was playing Malmaninga, and I remember hearing words saying, "Here is David Fafita, and he's scoring 4 tries a game, playing front row in Malmaninga Cup."
Yeah.
And then he debuts in the fucking Intrust Cup, comes on in the back row, and just fucking absolutely annihilates people. It's
Well,
absolutely
it says how good he is
ridiculous.
in when the Indigenous side when he made that break and set up Roberts, and it looks schmick. I just hope he can take it to that level and be doing shit like that at Origin because I'm sick of seeing
Exactly right.
I'm sick of seeing us get beat after 2 series.
Yeah, but if you think about his 8, I think he's 19 now. When
Yeah.
you think about it, like 19, like he's
That's
got up to
unbelievable.
4, like even like someone like a Tamalolo, when he first burst on the scene, he was a freak.
Yeah.
So he first burst on the scene, everyone was saying expecting so much. He didn't really fulfill probably the first 2-3 years in the NRL.
definitely.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about him being one of the best.
The best
probably,
ever.
for me,
Remember
probably
he
the
was
best forward in
kind
the game.
Remember he was a bit chunky and he'd float.
Yeah.
He played for Mackay when they won it in Cup. Tomalolo.
Who was that?
Tell Malolo.
Yeah, when
and
they had a gun side.
Was that when Brian lost another comp? Was it Brian Smith?
Yeah.
Was it? He had Ben Hampton, Cody Walker, Junior Sal. He had
You had a
everyone.
few beers, Kimmy. You're getting into it.
Oh.
You're getting stuck in.
No. On a serious note, though, guy. A little birdie told me you like a drink.
Little birdie. Yeah, don't mind a drink, mate.
Mate, who's one of the loosest blokes you've had on a Mad Monday or a drink with?
Oh, this is a question. I
Loosest
can go around.
blokes on the drink.
You just met him.
Someone I really enjoyed having a few drinks with was Liam McDonald.
Oh.
My mate Elmac,
Elmac.
as you usually would know.
Mate, I remember played Colts with him 06 with Freddie, then 07. He's next level. Like he takes the cake.
Him and Adam Elliott were easily on the pedestal for.
Yeah, wow.
Adam Elliott's. I've seen
Is
him.
Elliot just as good as Elmac?
Or if not, mate.
Wow.
He's done some things that I just couldn't explain why I've watched it.
Wow.
And that's like, I bet you've heard some stuff about Elmac, what he's done. I'm thinking to myself like,
Elmac, man, like me and Kimmy were talking about during the week, he grew from our first Colts year.
he plays footy for Mad Monday.
He was the quiet one, wasn't he? He
He
was
could
like,
play, man.
Yeah,
I think he was our captain. He was 17. He was the youngest, but
that was your first.
he was quiet.
Yeah, he was quiet. On our Mad Monday, he wasn't, and then he just fucking.
Why do you think like he
exploded.
just brung him everywhere he went? Because he's just a culture, like
100%, yeah.
like he's a player that when he's in your group, like you just feel like you're on the same page. Like he's gonna bring everyone in.
Probably another one. If he was a little bit like going back to that size thing, a bit taller,
Yeah.
could have played a lot of NRL. Like he had the work ethic, like
Yeah. Oh,
just tough,
He's-
fast,
mate,
play the ball. Like he was
just his energy in a room. Like
Yeah.
we're doing video, mate, and he walked in the room and straight away everyone's on edge, thinking we're gonna get sprayed. Like
Yeah.
Trig's gonna bring us something up about.
Yeah.
I've scored 3, but I know I'm getting sprayed for me 5 missed tackles.
Yeah.
And he'll walk in and you're like, all right, we're right now.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna take the piss
He's got
out of
us covered,
Triggs.
yeah.
He's gonna spray Triggs or something. We're all gonna laugh. We're fucking
Yeah.
sweet. Like he just.
I went to a West training this year and watched. Triggs was bagging these poor young blokes, and they don't know how to take him, and he's saying it like it's funny. And I was going, are these poor guys on suicide watch? They were doing that tennis ball reaction drill. Some bloke dropped about 3, he caught one, he goes, oh, good to see you do know actually how to catch, mate.
Yeah.
And this poor bloke's looking at, was he serious? Was he joking? Was he serious?
Oh.
Yeah, no, the first time he goes, you got fucking hands? That's what he said. He goes, Freddie asked him if he had hands. And he didn't know how to take, but
We always
gotta be done.
Matt Sopalola was our winger at the Falcons that year, and he was one that just constantly copped it. Like he was the one in video. Like it was just. I think Triggs sort of played on a bit, knowing that we all thought it was funny,
Easy
and he took
target.
it to heart because he loved his footy. And then after he probably put him aside and said, "Mate, like
Yeah.
you're never in jeopardy. Like you fucking one of our best
Play
players."
footy,
But
couldn't
we like to just use you as an example. But every video session, he was going to cop it for something. We just used to fucking laugh at.
Dane told a story how he was talking about some bloke at West once, and he goes, this guy wasn't real smart, and he said something, and he goes, you are the smartest bloke here, fucking good work. And later on he goes, how dumb is that poor cunt? Fuck.
No, because are we talking about Triggs?
Yeah.
Triggs, you just, I'm not going to name names, but Triggs,
Yeah, don't
you're
drop.
the dumbest fuck. You were about as bright as a blackout. And then the next session, he came in, he has one answer. He goes, mate, you're the smartest bloke I've ever met. I swear to God. You are the smartest bloke in this room. How the fuck are you a footballer? You should be a scientist or some shit. And he, dead set.
Oh, he was good for the old mind game Triggs. Like, he'd have a chat with me, and we'll go into video, and he'd be like, mate, you played really well. We're really impressed, mate. You keep doing that. You're doing well. And then I get in the video session, like thinking, fuck, how good's this? I would relax here, like.
Yeah.
Fucking first video will be me missing a tackle in front of the group. You'd be like, what the fuck were you thinking?
Straight
Like,
on show.
He does.
I'm like, I thought I was doing
Definitely
well.
doesn't hate a blow up either. Definitely doesn't hate.
One of my favourites is Offerdale telling me once, he goes, I used to get on with him real well. And then I couldn't go to a recovery session because I had a cold. So I said to him, oh, mate, I didn't go. I got a cold. And he said, yeah, that's all right. And later on he goes, no, I'm dropping that cunt. Fuck you. And I said, yeah, if it would happen to anyone else, I would have.
Right. I'm going to bring my producer out of me because I know Freddie's sort of half giving me the wing, but we're going to get Guy up, and Guy's going to do the
after
curl
I
challenge
come-
now. So we're going to get Guy up. Yeah. So all right. So we got to give him a bit. We got to give him a bit of grace. Apparently.
Got Julia Robinson, who's 32.
He's got 32 reps. So we've got Guy up now. He's going to do our bicep challenge. Righty, Kimmy and I are going to keep talking.
You got to set the bar.
I've got to set it up.
Right here. So
Because,
Righty, Kimmy and I are going to try and keep talking over this. But
How good is it? Like, I just want to wrap a bloke,
Yeah.
Valandi.
yeah,
Everything that gets thrown up, he just knows how to deal with it.
yeah. He's been putting in the work for the NRL. I got to give that bloke
Yeah.
massive raps. He does he's obviously high up in the NRL. And it's his job to do that, but he has been putting in extra work for
Yeah.
the NRL.
Well, like,
and
they're about to sign a new deal.
Exactly.
Whether
You can't hate on a bloke who's been putting in every second of
Did you-
every hour to put it
With
to get
Beattie
our
and-
great game back to where it was.
Beattie's mate.
What's the best guess you've had? Got?
Best guest. Julia was great.
Have you only had one person do it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're second, bro.
40, that's 40 there.
What?
Yeah. Righty, I think I said to Freddie the other day, you guys got an unreal setup here, like perfect setup. Like this is what I'm trying to get my brother to move back down.
They'll never get him to leave, will they? Up the Brahmins,
No, I
they
think
love
he's
him.
done. Oh, he's on 25k a year to coach,
Yeah,
but he's overcoached. He's
He-
done
he can find a gig, old Ty. Good on him. Good on him for that too.
for money.
Yeah,
for money.
Yeah, fair call to the lad. He got a,
What's the number? What's the number, Fred?
65, I'm pretty sure.
oh, that's some impressive shit.
So what have you been doing, mate, in this sort of last 6-7 weeks? You been doing a little bit?
Oh, I was in training or?
Yeah.
Sort of a little bit. Just more gym. Doing a bit of gym at home. Just grabbed a few stuff from the South gym and took it home as
Yep.
sort of as best as we could. But
Yep.
yeah, not too much, mate. The last week or so we've been we've been back into started running again. So I've done about 2 or 3 sessions.
Yep.
The last week, just trying to find my feet just in case this comp does start.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not going to be behind the 8 ball straight away, but
I always wonder with the NRL blokes because, like any footy, there's going to be some blokes who only train when they're with everybody, and blokes are going, "Yep, I'm keen as beans.
yeah.
I'll be training, and then we didn't know if it'd even get off. So some blokes fucking going, "Oh, I'm not going to do fuck all." Going back, they show Latrell like struggling, and
Oh, but that's just
yeah, but
medium.
and Bateman comes out, puts a tweet out, and goes, "You could have gone to any
one of
NRL.
us,
and
every
we'd be
one
like
of us
that."
is struggling.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You think about it. Anyone, like, you wait till we go back. Look at some
Oh,
of
we
the
got
custard
some
asses
dumb-
coming back into fucking.
And we got
Div
some
1,
custom.
brother.
We got some blokes training all the time because they don't have anything
I'm
else
supposed
to
to
do.
be. I'm
Other
supposed to be
blokes will
playing
be
in the
pissing
spine,
it
bro.
up
Trust me,
everywhere.
I'm a big custard ass. When we get back, I'm supposed to be in the spine somewhere.
Righty. Righty, you're my, your NRL inside out. So what's the rule around this vaccination stuff? What?
Great.
Oh.
Like,
Well,
I actually don't get it.
what-
I'm a bit confused.
Someone described it pretty well. They thought that are they trying to appease the government because these blokes have constituents who want them to vote for them.
Has the government set the rules to the NRL?
Well,
Is
that-
what's
yet.
happening?
that's
Not
what
yet.
Morris,
Not yet they
Morrison said. Like, and he brought up how when they were talking about prep, how kids didn't get the jab, they couldn't go to school.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing. But most of these guys protesting changed it. Like when they realised the importance of it. Like Marty Tapau, Nathan Peets.
They've realised
Yeah.
and they've changed
Like,
their opinion.
I'm telling you
I was
too,
listening to
Bryce Cartwright should not be protesting nothing on his form.
yeah, because
So-
because if they realise he hasn't made a tackle since
He wouldn't get a game from
2017,
Mitchell.
they would realise.
Like,
No, I was listening to Triple M the other day, and they had Wade Graham on, who's a
Yeah.
RLPA. He's on the board of the RLPA.
oh yeah.
And he said if there was someone in my club, obviously no one in Cronulla has at the moment protested against it.
Yeah.
He said if there was someone in my side, I'd pull him aside and I'd said, mate, listen here, why do you not want to get the jab? And he said, if it's a reason that's out of my league, which is obviously religion or something like that, he said, I'd respect that and I'd step back and I'd take a second and I'd respect it.
Don't know. What's the difference to Israel Folau? Just quickly.
Yeah.
What's the difference with that being religious and Israel Folau
100%.
religious
that-
beliefs?
Exactly. That's
At the end of the day, he's done it right through the
Exactly.
ARU. hasn't he?
Exactly. That's the major malfunction.
Yeah.
That's what Wade Graham was on. And Wade
Yeah.
Graham said if one of the boys said something like religion or something like that, he would step back and let them do what they do because he has no idea about it. He said, but if they just said it was a personal preference, he said, come on, mate, this is a team
Why are
sport.
they getting the flu shots anyway? It's not
Yeah,
That's
that
not
was-
going to help the coronavirus
No,
stuff or anything.
no,
It's just-
exactly.
That's
I
what
understand
But,
why
but
they're
the thing is,
forcing- what's
it's
that
a blanket. Like the thing is, it's a blanket rule, and if the government's made it a rule, that's what they were saying. If New South Wales government, Queensland government made it a rule, which they have with nursing or like if you're a nurse in Queensland, it's mandatory you get the jab.
Yeah, okay.
You cannot go to work as a nurse
We've already
without the
done a
jab.
couple of jabs.
If
Yeah. In the
It-
chin
yeah.
and others.
yeah, exactly. You can't go to work as a nurse without the jab. So
Yeah.
why can you go to work as a footballer without the jab?
And-
You can't go to work as a doctor without the jab. You can't go to work as a public servant without the jab.
What do you
So-
do for work?
Me,
Yeah.
I'm a line marker. I do line marking.
Do you have to get a
and
jab?
signage. No, I don't.
So what? I don't like. What's
Exactly.
the difference between that and footy? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know. I agree with you, but I'm just saying that.
especially if
the-
there's no crowds in isolation and stuff.
Exactly.
Like, they're not doing
These
anything.
blokes are blowing up, but the thing is, if the rule with your job is, which obviously it isn't yet, which is
Yeah.
why these blokes are blowing up, which is fair enough. They have every right to blow up.
Yep.
But if it's in your job description that you have to do it, so nurses have to do it because it's in their job description. Rugby league players at the moment they're blowing up because it's not in their job description. So they have every right
Yep.
to go out and say I'm not getting the jab.
At the end of the day, there's no game without the players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Gordon Tallis said that perfectly on Triple M yesterday. He said that there is no game without the players,
Yeah.
and if the governments can do the NRL a justice here by making it a blanket law,
Yeah.
they can take all the grey area out by saying you have to have the jab, but the governments haven't. And the reason the governments haven't is because the NRL have embarrassed the NRL.
I
That-
keep looking at his stomach
like-
cooler. I got that mat at home.
You're a regular.
That's in case I have to find my
You're
way
almost
home,
a
brother.
politician. When
No,
you finish,
but
Yeah.
guys, the reason the NRL haven't made it a rule is
Yeah.
because the rereason the government haven't made it a rule is because the NRL keep embarrassing.
If
the
you're on the
government.
money Cartwright's on, are you getting a jab?
oh fuck yeah!
Oh,
100%.
I'll get-
You jab me every
Bros,
day for
you-
800 grand.
You can put whatever you want in me if
Yeah.
I'm on Cartwright's money
Yeah.
because I haven't made a tackle since 2004.
Like just
And I'm gonna get whatever you want.
man.
To be fair, I would have got any jab anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
just
yeah.
fucking give it to me.
But just quickly, like Cartwright's a good example, but how many bad decisions have the Titans made?
Oh,
Leilani
they
Latu on 500k a year. He's playing Reggie's in fucking Warrington. Jesus.
Yeah, they've.
How was that? I remember he'd go back to Tweed
And
and
they let
play
Jai go.
for five.
No,
How could you let him
exactly.
go? Your heart and soul of your forward pack.
Jai. Where's this guy? Oh, actually, no.
Was he a
I
keeper
grew up
boy?
with Jai, so yeah, me
See?
and him were best mates growing up. Well, how's this tight?
No, go or
What?
twist it around, like do the whole mic, go that around, like it. No, the other way. Yeah,
what-
and go around again.
So what year did you play at Keebra?
Yeah,
Your
should be-
two senior years.
Grade 11, 2011, 2012.
And who won that?
So 2011, I was in grade 12, but I repeated the year again.
Yep.
But 2011, we got beaten by Endeavour, which was
In the national final.
yeah, it was
And they
Yeah.
won the national final.
no.
2 years later, 1 year later.
Yeah, and then the year after, I went back to school, but I broke my foot, so I didn't get to play. But they ended up winning it. So that's when they had like Tamari Martin. But yeah, I didn't end up playing in that. But
Tamari Martin played.
Yeah,
Yeah,
forgot
he was-
about that.
So was it
Close.
supposed to be used two and a halves?
yeah, it was us two. Yeah, and then
And then you done your foot.
yeah, I'd hurt my foot, and then yeah, I couldn't get back in the team. Then they had a go inside. They were winning. I was captain the year before, couldn't get back in.
Oh,
I
so
just
you were
said,
fit again.
yeah, I got fit again. Yeah, and then Leno loves these Polynesians
Yeah.
and loves these, and they were with the West. Tamari was the West Tigers.
Like,
so
just a quick story. Triggs will back this up.
Yeah.
Triggs took me down to Keebra Park 2005. We played against Wave.
I was too white.
We got beat by 60, and he wanted me to come to Keebra the following year and repeat.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't do it. But
been a lot of repeating
going on
just in the hope of state.
A lot of them private schools try and talk
Well, back
kids
then,
into
school footy was
doing it
massive.
over 3
Yeah,
years,
100%
like
worse.
doing senior over 3 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, like if you've got a big sporting commitment, you're going to miss things. Yeah, just do senior over 3 years where,
I know coaches that like bring players in from us of the world, give them an atlas, don't you?
Brian
Rodney?
Henschel.
oh,
Or-
fucking hell.
Brian Henschel.
I'm telling you,
Do you remember that spray? We're playing, South Juniors where the planes fly over. We're playing at
That's where we
Colts.
train. Casey Ridge.
Archfield. We're playing Colts down by 54 at half time. Me and Freddie playing West Colts, getting fucking pumped. And two things he goes, "You fucking cunts, promise me the world, give me a fucking atlas." Then he pulls out Sean Maloney. He goes, you're on a Shark scholarship.
Who was our contracted player? Yeah.
You're on a fucking Sharks scholarship. The only Shark side you'd make is a Shark Bay at SeaWorld, you silly cunt. And
a
me and
good
Freddie look at each other
sledge.
and go, yeah.
what'd the score end up?
Yeah,
I don't
70
know.
or 80.
We
like,
were
yeah.
cellar dwellers that year.
Yeah.
The year after that,
This is against Keebra.
No, this was when we
No,
were
this is
just
West
in the Colts.
Colts against
Yeah,
South
just
Colts,
playing
yeah.
cold. There was one year, a few years later, Don Beyond in that were playing. West Colts got beat by Burley at Mitchie by 100 points.
No,
At
that
one
wasn't our
stage.
year. No.
No, that was new. But and I thought, and blokes were laughing and drinking in the can bar, and I thought, you've either got the biggest set of nuts, or you really could not give a flying fuck.
No, that wasn't our year.
I'd be going home and cry, or going to a pub no one liked footy and getting blind as there, just so trying to forget the
What
terrible
questions we
memories.
got, Freddie?
Yeah, that's a great game.
We're at 80 minutes, eh?
Yeah, what questions we
Well,
got?
hurry
Go
up, hit the
fucking
questions.
night.
Hurry up, man.
Let me see. We've just got generic ones, eh? Like, so with righties. What teams will benefit from the time off and who will suffer?
I think
in NRL.
Yeah.
you'd imagine Melbourne, because just what they're talking about, their preseason, they only got one speed. Rip in.
I reckon the
100.
team that will benefit the most out of it will be the Roosters, but just
Yeah.
purely
I
from
agree.
the 2 years in a row, how much success they've had. They probably haven't had much of a break.
They need
And
somebody
they were-
because they have
And
they
they
were-
didn't start the best. 0 from
They were-
2. I reckon that break,
Had Josh Morris in too, like, you know,
Yeah.
time
balance.
off,
And that trip
recover.
to England's got hurt, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
exactly.
Like that breaks your pre-season.
That's
up.
exactly right. Yeah, a side that just played that much footy. Like, you're not even talking about a 24-round NRL season. You're talking about 24-round season plus a final series,
Yeah.
plus a World Club Challenge, and then you've got a large majority of players, even if it's 4 or 5, that play State of Origin, and then you've got a couple of players that are playing Australia or Tonga, or like.
Yep.
Like one of your best forwards, Takeaho, plays for Tonga, and then you got Warrior Hargreaves playing for New Zealand. Those blokes, the toll it takes on their body is ridiculous. Especially Hargreaves being an older bloke. The break will just do that sort of side
The
justice.
team probably that won't benefit, obviously, the teams that started well. So obviously your Penrith, the Broncos,
Broncos,
yeah.
yeah.
teams that have actually
Newcastle
started.
will be interesting.
Parramatta.
But if they're fair income, you'd think that they won't face.
For some reason, boys, I can't take Newcastle serious.
I agree.
I just
It's,
Me either.
when you're
I
in a
agree.
long
I can't-
season,
I can't
everyone
do it.
gets real excited early. I remember there was one year the Knights won their first 4,
Mm.
and for the rest of the year they won another 4 games. They finished on
Newcastle
8
won.
wins.
Newcastle won their
He's a good
first 3
coach
last
but
year.
He's a real good coach.
O'Brien. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I remember Trick
He-
saying he's the smartest mind. He's pretty
Well,
much.
when I
top
did that
of the-
pre-season, obviously he was the main assistant and he ran the whole
He
pre-season.
does, doesn't he? Yeah, I've heard that from a
Bellamy
few
just
people.
sat back and just palmed
Yeah.
him whenever he wanted.
Well,
but
didn't
he was
Newcastle win their
unreal.
first 3 games last year? And then they come up rocks
They
at the
were
end of
hot
the
and
season.
cold.
Right,
when
I
they'd
just
win,
I
they'd
can't
win.
take Ponga serious yet. I don't think he's Queensland's best forward. If I'm picking a Queensland team tomorrow, I'm moving Munster back to fullback,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
and
think
I'm playing probably Norman on the
Munster's
left hand side.
strong as fuck.
See,
too.
I
Like, his
agree with
carries.
moving Munster back to the back, but I still don't
You
think...
can play Michael Morgan at 6.
Yeah, I see exactly.
There's plenty of options.
I agree with
No.
Morgan in that. I just don't think that Norman's got the. I
that
agree.
left foot kicks handy though.
Norman's incredible. He's
Should've
an
made that
incredible
tackle
athlete,
last
but
year.
I just don't see him.
Oh,
I don't see him as an
No one's
origin
standing there.
caliber.
He should have made that tackle.
That he
Yeah,
makes
he
that.
definitely
One-on-one in
should've.
a
Yeah.
5-meter grid.
You
Yeah.
make that tackle.
Yeah.
You make that.
But
Tackle.
But I think Munster's the Queensland's. I think Munster was the best player in that game 3, the
Exactly.
first half of footy.
Yeah.
Like, he outplayed everyone.
X Factor is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
The Munster reminds me of when you're playing in the backyard, well, like when you're playing in your grandma's backyard,
Yeah.
and you're just jumping around with your mates. That's Munster on every level.
And he just
of football.
flicks you.
Yeah, just yeah.
He's strong as, like, when they won that last game, the series before, he sets his try up where he's gone right fan, left step, offloads to Cooper, gives it inside to Cherry, and
With,
scores under the
with
post.
Newcastle, obviously, do you see them ever doing anything without a dominant another half?
No, because they don't have a 6.
Yeah,
They've got Mitchell Pearce and that's it.
And
Oh, no,
what
they got
about-
Kurt Mann.
Kurt Mann.
Kurt Mann's a good footy player. Kurt Mann's a good footy
Kurt
player.
Mann's not an NRL 6.
He's not
Connor
a
Watson's
6.
not.
It's a bit
Mason
like,
Leno's not. Like,
Well, you look at the teams that win it. Obviously, the pedestal obviously is Roosters at the moment with Cooper Cronk and Keary.
yep.
You can't compete with that when you a Mitchell Pearce and a Kurt Mann.
No.
And then especially Brayley hasn't really
But then you
been that dominant in NRL as yet. So
You look at the
There's no Danny Badiris.
who are competitive. You don't even worry about. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about the sides that are winning. Worry
Yeah.
about the sides that are competitive as well. Look at Canberra. They made the grand final last year. They had Caesar and Whiten. Caesar had his best season ever, and Jack Whiten was a State of Origin and Australian debutant.
Yep.
And then even sides that weren't making the grand final, like the Bunnies had Cody Walker and Reynolds, great halves. Like it doesn't like you don't need to have 2 amazing halves, but
They're
all
very-
those sides who are at the top had two very, very good halves. Even if one half wasn't up to scratch, his kicking game and his footy IQ was incredible.
You need to have the best 7 in the comp or you're not winning.
Souths are very unimpressive. I just thought they looked yuck at stages. I don't know, like Burgess is an enormous loss.
I think Sea Eagles should drop down in New South Wales Cup.
Oh,
motherfucker.
Seagulls,
But
Sea Eagles.
Freddie,
You don't like them.
no,
You man,
just
man.
because he loves them.
Oh, I reckon they're
Will be
dark
sweet.
horses massively.
Yeah, again.
They
the
get Tommy
thing,
back.
you got Cherry Evans, you got Walker, who's just going to run.
And I reckon
You
they're
look
two
at that-
fronties. They're
Yeah,
You look at that
Powell
too.
and
Fanua Blake.
Fanua Blake, the two
And you-
wide.
And
Their stats are better than everyone.
Jake Vujovic in the middle.
Oh,
them
and then
three.
Tommy's probably, in my opinion, probably if not the best player in the comp on his day. Some of the stuff he pulls out of his ass.
Only he can do.
Yeah, I mean, like
And you look at it too.
he's tall, fast, strong. Like
Hasler's one of those blokes similar in that Bellamy mode where he's got the wood on Bellamy and wins head to head. And
God,
then-
you'd know. He's nothing like he is on TV, eh?
Who's
Yeah,
that?
he's nothing like
yeah,
that. is he?
oh mate,
I sat down with him, and he was the
I remember in the
bloke.
video one day, on video one day, and he's brung up this video, and he's like, "I got big news for everyone before it gets in the media." And we're all sitting in the video room, and he's like, he puts a video out, and he goes, "We've just signed a player to come to the Bulldogs," and he goes, "I want to tell you before everyone gets hold of it, as the players, you should know first." And he puts up a photo of Israel Folau, and he goes, "Boys, like obviously it's a massive signing for the club. Israel Folau's coming."
Just
All the
don't
boys-
shower naked with him.
All the boys are like,
Oh.
Israel Folau's coming. Like, how good is
Yeah.
this? In his prime, we're like, fuck, how good's that? And then I'm sitting there, like, I was just lucky to be in the room, to be honest. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, fuck, Israel Folau, imagine him. Like, and then he goes, "This is the reason why he signed him." And he presses play, and then there's a video of one of the coaching staff who's not all with it, to be honest, of him jumping up, dropping a ball, and he goes, "Welcome Israel Folau to the club." And the fuck, honestly, I've never seen the whole group just laugh so much.
Wow.
And the little things like that, you don't think he is, but
Yeah.
he's actually like real funny. Like he's
Yeah.
fucking hilarious.
He's different to the
Yeah, oh, that's all the show.
Nice.
That's all the massive show.
We'll hit this another question, which is a decent one. How do you see the game going to be if they go back to the one ref? And how do you see the
I wouldn't like
bunker
it.
playing its role and the ref being able to control the ruck?
I wouldn't like it just for the fact that
I agree.
it'll be yuck.
I
If you
know.
want to play fast,
I think
We don't want that.
that
Freddie. Sorry, Dano. Seriously though, rugby league started to become like NFL, and I fucking hate it. It stops so much.
yeah.
Like the umpires and referees think they're a Hollywood actor. Like they're talking to the crowd and like if there's one ref and no bunker and the decision's wrong, I couldn't give a fuck.
I agree.
But
And if they don't show it,
and they don't
as
waste
much.
time. Just show it once, whatever, bang, keep going, keep rolling.
In my opinion, I think one ref is bad. Just for
how
no,
many
just
tins has he had? I'm loving this.
no. Honestly,
He gets the mic. He's got it out of the
Right.
hook.
it's
It's all about him. Let's change his name.
listen to me, motherfuckers.
No wonder
I'm
these
talking-
women dig you, hey man.
Yeah, it's because I got a
100%.
great cock on me. No, but honestly,
That's
just
why they dream of other dudes.
no, but just for the reason that one ref, I don't think one ref will keep up with today's game.
Yeah,
Because I think today's game's too quick. Imagine watching a game. You watched the Knights versus the Tigers in round 2. It was fucking quick as fuck.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did. Fuck, I watched every second of that shit. There's no way.
Couldn't watch the Titans play.
There's no way the ref would keep up with that shit. You get two refs,
Yeah.
great game.
they want to say
I agree with no bunker.
Tell
Yeah,
the
give it-
bunker.
I agree with
ta-ta.
no bunker, but one ref, I don't agree with that because as the game has progressed, that we're fast enough now. One ref just won't cut it.
Yep.
You'll miss too much shit, and especially now the fact that the wrestle is that prominent in rugby league, you're not going to
Well,
find
what
one
else we got,
ref
Freddie?
to
If they have one, if
I
they
got one.
yeah,
If you'll start an NRL team tomorrow, who's the first person you're signing?
Jake
Metal.
Travojevic.
Mate,
Travojevic,
Jake.
no drama.
Jake.
He's not going to get
Say
in
Jake.
drama, Jake. He's
Oh,
not
oh.
going to get in drama.
Who's the
He's
first
going
player
to
you
be the
sign?
leader.
I had five. I remember saying this if I was the Titans. I said it to a couple of mates. I'd sign proven leaders and proven winners. I'd sign Jared Waria-Hargreaves would be the first one. He's a proven leader, proven winner. No, he's 31. He's still playing for another 3-4 years
Yeah.
in front of you. I'd sign Kenny Bromwich.
Oh yeah.
I remember watching Kenny Bromwich play when he's playing Cup at East, and I said to him, mate, I said, he reminds me so much of Glenn Stewart, just so crafty on the
Yeah.
edge. He'd be the second one I'd sign. I'd sign Cooper Cronk as like an assistant coach. He's the smartest. I reckon, like he's up there with Matty
Fuck, you'd be
Johns.
signing the rest of South for the salary cap you just used.
I'd probably them three would be the start.
Bryce Cartwright to deal with people who get colds and
Nah,
stuff.
I wouldn't have Bryce. I'll tell you that
You'd have
much.
to give him 100,000, 800,000, 800.
But probably, I'd start with Jared. Big Jared.
Jared,
I'd start with a feeder.
Oh yeah.
David.
Yeah.
I'd start with Payne Haas every day.
Yeah. No, I think a feeder's got.
On a serious note, I've just got a message.
He's texted me
from
4
a-
times. He's texted me 4 times.
Triggs,
Yeah.
what's he got?
He wants me to tell a few stories about some of the
Uh,
boys.
Ask Hamo what his favourite trip, and also ask him about Brandon Smith in the tunnel with Matt Lodge in 2017. It's a good story. Thanks,
What do you
fearless
want,
leader.
the story?
Okay,
Yeah.
unleash.
Give us the story, Hammer.
No, we're in the knockout semi to get into the GF. Oh, was it to get into the GF?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, to get into the
At
GF and
Redcliffe?
at Redcliffe to
Yeah.
get into the GF and Triggs obviously we know Lodgy's.
Is that when you towed him up?
Yeah, Lodgy's. Yeah, Lodgy's got a switch. So we know
Yeah.
we got to get in.
And he had a
press it.
blinder.
And to be honest, mate, he was running the mucking cup like he was dominating games.
He was one of the best 3 players on the field, and these boys won by about 30.
So
Correct.
so we're Triggs has told us, let's get into him a fair bit. If we get an opportunity, let's really
Yep.
ruffle his feathers a bit. So we're in the game and Timsy's come off the bench and Tui and Lodgy's gone at it a bit at the end of the half, and they're in the scrum grabbing each other, and then the half time hooter goes and we're starting to walk off and Timsy somehow ends up in the middle of it all. Like Timsy's, if you know Timsy, he's the most harmless, quietest, and best bloke you'll meet. And then everyone's chirping, and then Brendan Smith pipes up, and Brendan Smith he's a goer.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
going. Brendan Smith, my life depends on it. Like he's a
Yeah.
goer.
Mitch Bucket knows about that.
Yeah.
I'll get back to
punch
that
the
one.
shit out with him broken hand.
Yeah, I'll get back to that one.
And then so we started getting the tunnel, and everyone's saying shit, and Lodgy's fuck, I'll go use all. And then Brendan Smith brung something up, and Brendan Smith goes, "Shut the fuck up, you're a rapist," and brung it up, and then everyone like went a bit quiet, and then we kept walking, and he's like, and then Brendan Smith said something like, "Fucking, keep talking, Lodgy, we got a bit more to pay off that $1 million debt." And Lodgy's turned around in the tunnel, and poor what's his name? Timsy's by himself, and Timsy's got put up against the wall
Well, Lodge.
by Lodgy, and this is at half time in the tunnel. Lodgy's about to kill him, and Tim's like, I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing. And all the boys were in there, fucking, it just escalated, and then come back out after half time, and the first tackle, Lodgy just bashed someone, and we've gone, fuck, don't stir him up too much, keep him fucking quiet. But yeah, it was fucking, when like everyone knew to say it, but no one wanted to say it, you know what I mean? And then Smithy just, I'll say it, Smithy started bringing it all up and just let loose with it, and fuck yeah.
So was that Triggs' sledge that he designed for him?
Can't confirm it. You all know what he's like. He just said, mate, if you get an opportunity to fucking get in his head, like we know he's got a switch, he'll get sent off pretty quick.
What was the second part of that question, Roddy?
What was the second part? I'm still loving that first part of the answer there.
Let a couple of stories fly, Hammer.
Stories?
What do you got?
I don't know if it's...
Oh, it's AGM, man. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah,
You can,
Yeah, but I'll get myself in trouble here. Like,
Guys, we were talking
Don't
about
worry.
Freddie's conception of his next
Mate, there's
baby last
four-
weekend. Don't worry
There's
about
14 viewers. Hey, Freddie, he's fine.
14
He's fine.
viewers.
All right,
Wait to
Kai
see-
and Ty
wait
Talk
to see-
Footy is just killing us right now.
I'm trying to think, like, off the top of my head, like, nothing, like, I can't, like, that's like putting someone's misso in the group chat,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's like how Freedy, when he tells people to pick their worst coach, and he knows who his worst coach is, the bloke who's recently coached in the USA, he doesn't have the stones to say it because he doesn't think of him as a coach.
I thought he was
So,
talking
like,
about you, Roddy.
Yeah, he'd be only semi-right. Don't worry about it.
I think there was
Is there any
one of
questions left on
Liam McDonald. I think I don't know if it's true or not. I got told this when I got there, but everyone always brings it up. There was of Triggers has got a rule, like after a game, especially if you win, like we were having a beer, having a good time, but you have one rule: make sure you're on the fucking bus in the morning to the airport.
Yeah.
And all that. That's one rule. If you're not on the bus, you're fucking not playing.
Is this PNG?
No, it's not PNG. I think it might have been Cairns or something. And they said you have one rule. And you know what, LMAC, if you have to be there on the bus on an away trip after a night out on the piss, having the time of your life, you have to be there by 6 a.m. LMAC's usually rolling in at fucking
Especially
5:59.
you're in Cairns. You've been to Gilligan's.
We're at Gilligan's.
If you're doing no good there, reassess your whole thought process.
We've had 485 kryptonites.
Yeah.
And the story that they tell is that that they were on the way back to the airport and LMAC hadn't rocked up for the bus, and everyone's like, "Fuck LMAC, like we've just told you, mate." And they're on the way, and next minute as the bus is heading towards you see Elmac riding a kid's bicycle down the hill.
No.
He's riding a bicycle to the bus.
I believe it 100%.
That's what I've been told. That's just what I've been told.
Yeah.
He's on a kid's bicycle with fucking little tyres. Oh.
believe it. Yeah.
That's a story. That's
Oh,
almost as good as the story.
Ty.
about Freddie's
Oh,
no
Kim, sorry.
dick last
Kimbo,
week.
I heard
That's
this
good.
one about your mate Capewell, Luke, in residence camp a few years ago.
It was.
Well, they went out. They went to Langer's restaurant up there in Caloundra.
Yeah.
Mad night.
Yeah.
He does all right. The next day, mate was the manager. Like I say, Paul Green was very particular.
Yeah.
He had some knew a mate in Brizzy who had some film on half the blokes they're playing. So I went to Brizzy for that. My mate rings him and go, "We're one short. We're at the beach. Capewell's not here."
He's
He
no
goes,
captain.
yeah, he goes, "What do you mean he's not there?" He goes, "Well, I've done a head count. He's not here." He goes,
not here.
"Right." I go, so he comes back. Greeny's blowing up it and go, "If you weren't the fucking halfback,
Yeah.
I'd drop you now."
Yeah.
And my mate's hung over as fuck. He goes, "Milesy, you're saying?" He goes, "Yeah, mate. You know, have your fun, but you got to, you know, be home back in time." And he's thinking,
Yeah.
"I couldn't give a fuck." Like, and Green's filthy. Goes, "Just thank yourself lucky
Yeah.
that you're the halfback, or else I'd be putting someone else in."
A good fellow, Rock, loves a drink. Great bloke.
Remember when Sunny Coast won the comp with the Manly team with
Oh,
like
when Tony
T-Rex?
Williams and Heath Strange turned up without
Stranger, T-Rex.
without playing a game all year.
Yeah.
They turn up on grand
Oh,
final.
but
So that was because I was playing Fogs and
Tony Williams played 6 in the grand final.
Yeah, I listened to
Didn't he get
podcast with
Duncan
Hopkinson
Hall?
the other day talking about it.
Yeah,
Duncan
And-
Hall medal?
Yeah.
But he played a lot for us that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the Fogs boys, we went up there. I think I dropped a bit of speed about 7 a.m. And then so I'm at the game, fucking peak, and
On
I'm
game
like,
day?
like
are a
watching,
big fan of
yeah,
Fogs.
so-
watching.
Yeah, because
I
I'm
thought you meant you were playing.
No, I'm a Fogs player.
Oh,
so
right.
yeah, I was watching the Q Cup boys. Obviously, yeah, piss again. Obviously, I wasn't getting a run over those boys, like especially Stranger and fucking Hodgkinson in the halves and stuff. And then we had Sandow at the back. But
How good was he, that Dennis Sandow? I don't know whatever happened to him after that, but he was a real good fullback.
Yeah, but a bunch of his raging on, like half of his raging on speed. It was the best fucking grand final we've ever watched in our life because we were just so jacked. And then after it happened, all the Manly boys, we go back to an apartment. They're all sweet with what's going on and how much it's costing. And a couple of the Broncos boys come up and they're like, "Oh, so how much are we spending?" And I let them know how much we're spending. They're like,
You're a good guy like
yeah,
that.
they're like, that's too expensive. And I was like, well, go find somewhere else where it's cheaper, motherfuckers. This is the sunny coast. About 10 minutes later, they're like, yeah, we'll pay that. And then, just a good time. But Hodgkinson, man. What's that?
You charge overs for it.
No, I just charge to make my money back, you know?
No, 'cause you charge overs.
I can imagine what you do for blokes at the gym, just quietly. Yeah, I need to put on a bit of size. Come with me, young fella.
I read I read an article through the week about you, and obviously you were the leading point scorer in the Intra Super Cup last year as a goal kicking ace, as they said in the article, and your old man obviously played Intra Super Cup, and he also led the league in point scoring over 2 decades ago. How do you feel about you and your old man both being top point scorers in the like obviously probably the second top league in the
Who'd
world?
your old
at the
man play
moment?
for?
Played a bit of everywhere. I think played a bit at Wynnum, played a bit at South. Back then, I think it was the Scorpions.
Yep.
Um,
Logan
He might
Scorpions.
have made his debut at East like I did as well.